You know.
Good Thursday.
It is a good Thursday.
What's going on, you guys out there?
A little nasty out there.
A little nasty out there.
Took me an hour to get home last night.
Because of the snow.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone, like, there was no wrecks or anything that I saw. They just,
Well, it was all that snow out there.
yeah, I guess all that snow along I-5 that somehow I was missing. Like, they have, like, black ice. Was that, like, black snow? I just didn't see it.
Yeah, you can't see. That's the new snow. Can't see the snow.
I can live with...
Got to chain up.
Because it takes me about 20 minutes. So, normal. I can live with... If I got a 45 to an hour commute, I need proof of why it's taking me an hour. I need a wreck. I need something. It just can't just...
You never got that?
Nothing.
It was probably a wreck, huh?
But, like, I was looking on there and there was no reports of it. I didn't see any, because normally once you get past it, you see the aftermath of it, right? You see the flashing lights, you see, like, where they clean. Nothing.
Or you see some goober pulled over.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, you screwed everything up.
As far as I know, the 59-minute commute that it took me to normally takes me 20 minutes. As far as I can tell, yes, the black snow had slowed everyone down to 4 miles an hour.
Was it raining hard?
It was raining pretty bad.
Yeah.
But still, like that?
Yeah.
That much?
Yeah. I think people would be surprised to know that in Oregon, as much as it rains,
yeah, we can't handle it.
We really don't drive very well in it.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, I get it. When it's raining bad and stuff, you got to slow down a little bit. But to that level, no.
Yeah, that's unusual, fella. 20-minute commute turns into an hour.
59.
That's not.
Well, I guess 59 minutes to be accurate. I made it just under the wire. Felt pretty good about it.
That's not good.
No. Yesterday, kind of.
I cruised right home.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about that?
That I-5,
in your face.
That I-5 bridge is tasty. Let me tell you, there isn't a day that I drive over that thing and I'm like, now this seems great for a top 25 city.
Pete Buttigieg was just here. Did you see that? That
yeah,
guy?
I remember that.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
No, he was just here. Like he's here.
Oh.
Or was here.
He was here like, I thought you were talking about like a year ago. I remember that he was making an appearance.
Like yesterday or maybe the day before.
Is he talking about the bridge that's never going to get built?
Yep. He's talking about the bridge and he said, I read his quote and he said, we have a sense of urgency about this bridge. And I was like, man, that guy didn't care about our bridge.
No, he doesn't. I can't wait.
Then I thought,
until they toll the hell out of it.
Wouldn't it be awesome to be Secretary of Transportation or whatever he is?
I think he's the Secretary of Transportation. Yeah. Yes.
Wouldn't that be a sweet job?
Is it?
Well, yeah. I mean, what is he? I mean, he didn't do anything.
I'm assuming the Secretary of Transportation has to do something.
Well,
Aren't you in charge of the road? Because
yeah.
Isn't the infrastructure of the country like just completely falling apart?
Look, okay.
Yeah, don't you think maybe you're in trouble for wrecks and accidents and things like that happen among transportation?
Right. I'll amend it. It's not that he doesn't do anything. It's just that it's not all that urgent or important. You know, it's like you're not really going to get. I think he got heat for. Oh, the Alaska Airlines stuff.
Yeah, he took some heat for that.
But I don't really know why that's his fault. What's he supposed to do?
I don't know who it was, but a number of years ago, remember that bridge collapsed in like Minnesota or Wisconsin? Whoever was the transportation secretary then, they got some, because like the bridges are falling apart.
Well, there was that big train crash and explosion in like Palestine, Ohio or whatever it was.
I don't know. I just think it'd be a cool job. It's like come up with cool ideas and maybe they work and maybe they happen and maybe they don't, but you don't ever really, I mean, you just,
I want to be the,
cash and checks.
I want to be the Ferris Bueller Roy. What was his name? The guy that ran for president in Succession.
Oh, Conroy.
Yeah,
it was
I
Alan
want
Ruck.
a nice ambassadorship. Remember that whole thing? He was just he wanted to be an ambassador somewhere. I don't know what an ambassador does, but I want one of those.
Yeah,
and not to a stand either. Like, a decent... I'll be like an ambassador to like Ireland or Scotland. I don't even need any place like warm. It's going to be someplace cool. Let me go do that.
Well, that'd be way better than Secretary of Transportation.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the pay difference is. But I think, don't you have to be kind of a boob to do that?
I think you have to be a boob to do any of those. None of those things pay.
They sort of jettison you. They're like, it's like they pat you on the head and like, here, handle Afghanistan.
But that's the thing is like you just you get to be corrupt.
You're kind of a go-between, right? You just you grease the wheels a little bit and like.
I think you just get a lot of insider stock trading tips, and then you like hang out and you get to like live in a sweet place and hope that
keep relationships alive.
Yeah, and then you hope you don't want to be in a place like in the Middle East because then that's that whole was that Benghazi?
Yeah,
like
when tensions arise, then you're
next thing you know the enemies are at the gate. That's why I said you got to be like in as long as it's a NATO country. I'm an ambassador there. I'm good. I don't need warm weather. I can buy women in scarves on the streets of wherever I'm at to keep me warm, and whiskey. I'm good to go. Just send me there. Send me to a nice Scandinavian country.
What are both of your top 3 ambassadorship locations?
Well, first off, New Zealand.
Okay. Ooh, nice.
Ooh, that's good.
Send me to New Zealand. I want to be a Kiwi. We're going New Zealand 1. Gosh, I'd like to say some sort of island nation if we could.
Sure.
I'd like to be an ambassador somewhere in French Polynesia.
Yeah, I'd throw my hat in the ring like Turks and Caicos or something like that.
Yeah, and then again, I know it's crazy because the weather's not great, but I would love to be somewhere in the UK. Give me Ireland, give me Scotland, give me Wales.
Okay.
I could be very or like maybe Belgium. How about Portugal? Something over there. I'm good.
Isaac, what are you taking?
Italy.
Yeah,
good one.
I kind of outthought the room there. I thought that was a little obvious, but yeah, I mean,
Spain, France.
yeah.
I'm going to go Italy. I'm going to go considering Mexico, but
Well, that's not bad either. I'm telling you though, I'll bet you to be the ambassador to Italy, I'm guessing you really gotta be up someone's keister. You gotta be someone's brother.
Yeah, that's a high up ambassadorship.
That's a Kushner sort of position. You really gotta know some people.
they don't really ever need you, right? Like
I don't think so.
if something major comes up, they just bypass you.
You're just keeping up relations, I think. And then,
Yeah.
like, if something big happens, you tell the head cheese,
I
like,
bet
hey, something's going on over here.
It's all about your contacts. Like, hey, can you put me in touch with the prime minister of the country that you oversee?
Yeah, something like that.
Because I need to talk to him. Well, you can talk to me. No, give me his number.
Yeah, you do that. Like I said,
All right, here, call this number. That's what you do.
It's the cushest gig you can have in government.
But this guy's right. On my Department of Transportation idea here,
Yeah.
being the Secretary of Transportation would be pretty cushy.
Yeah.
You implement these ideas, you're gonna be out of office before they even come to fruition.
Oh, it's true.
Like you don't get.
No,
There's just nothing happens fast.
No, anything you're talking about building bridges and roads and freeways and stuff. Oh, you're decades.
What
down
you
the
do
road.
is you come to cities and you tell them, "Oh, this is very important to us."
You say monorail, monorail. You sing a song and then
then you move on to the next city, and then you
Exactly.
go drink nice wine on your PJ, flying back to the government.
I don't think there's any job in government outside of being the president that's actually hard or anything is expected of you. I saw some dude just recently. I was just reading an article today. Some guy that's he's retiring from Congress. He's a physician. He's a West Point grad, and he's retiring because he says Congress is broken. I forget exactly what he was pissed about, but he was up in arms. He's like, it's broken. And then they talked about it, and apparently. He's the world's he's like a Pelosi level stock trader. They said the last 3 years, his return is 133%. Like, of course he's retiring from Congress. He's sitting around right now in a pool of money being like, I'm good. It's working in government's where it's at. That's why no one that's actually successful wants to do it. It's just like greedy, corrupt people or that are willing to cut corners, which is why I should be in the government. I'm all of those things.
So I'm looking here at the Department of Transportation building.
Yeah.
It's like 3 blocks from the Nationals ballpark.
Oh, even better. You be conducting meetings out in left field, and I guarantee you probably get in whenever, Yeah, that's the sort of position where you're not in left field. That's Diamond Club, my friend.
I am a national.
Yes. Yeah. You're probably down there on the field. You're talking to players. It's good to go.
And as Secretary of Transportation, I could outlaw a loud muffler guy.
That is true.
That's big.
You probably have that. And you could probably do something about flights, to getting turned around and whatnot.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. There's another one today.
I know, maggots.
Yeah.
It's in the notes, trust me.
The hell's going on?
Suk and I have been tweeted about it as well.
Oh, yeah.
People want to make sure that we know what's going on in the friendly skies.
Anytime there's any sort of airline kerfuffle, immediately we're informed of it by the people. And I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but I do enjoy that after the 900th mass shooting yesterday, today everyone's relieved because it wasn't really a mass shooting. It was just groups of people that sprayed bullets into the crowd. I swear to God, we're like doing a celebration today that only one person's dead, only like 8 kids are shot, and that it wasn't an intentional shooting. We're now like, we're like
thankful it wasn't a more malicious intended attack.
Yeah, we're like, it's just apparently just 2 groups of people didn't like each other, and so they just happened to be carrying around assault weapons.
So carry on. We're all good.
Started spraying bullets at one another.
Well, the result is the same.
Well, yeah, but the intent. And so now we're like, it's okay.
Well, it bothers me when we say only one person died.
Yeah.
That's Imagine if that was your family member.
Yeah, and that's all you got was,
only one.
The one person.
It could have been a lot worse.
And to like the 8 kids that are shot, I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're laying in the hospital right now being like, it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, I think the number went up to 11. They were between the ages of 5 and 16.
I'm 5.
I'm sure when that 5-year-old gets out of surgery with half of their leg blown off, I'm sure they're going to be like, it's no big deal. It's not going to leave any sort of trauma.
Well, let's party.
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys like to party?
Yeah. Let's get it done.
Yeah, baby.
Let's get it done.
Aren't you in Vegas next week?
Kick the ball, you little bitch. What?
Aren't you in Vegas next week?
What? Over the weekend.
Oh, all right.
I'll be there. Why?
Well, you say you're ready to party. It's like a pre-party.
Yeah.
That is a good place to go to do that.
Yeah, that's where you party.
Yeah.
But my wife and I, we don't really party. We just relax. We relax there.
Yeah. So you're doing Vegas. The next week, I'm in New Orleans, and
that's a party.
Yeah, we're going to party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about this show? Where are you going, Buckley?
Vegas is more relaxing.
My next thing is Bandon in end of March. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, look at us.
Bandon. I love Bandon.
Well, who doesn't?
God.
Must be nice to be Buckley.
No, end of April. Excuse me.
Might want to get your dates down. You know?
Yeah, I probably should.
Might help you.
Yeah.
Father of children.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Get to the next day.
Right. You're in that mode. I know that mode. I mean, I don't, but I just see people in that mode.
You've heard of it.
And I laugh about it.
Rob's aware. He's like, I see the struggles.
I just think that's so funny.
Jerk kids.
That mode. But I see it up close with my brother and his wife, and it's like
they got they got twinsies, right?
No, just I think they're, what are they now? 9 and 7. And I see it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this really is.
It's a lot.
Like, you really don't have time for anything. It's unbelievable.
Sometimes feels that way.
Yeah, well, it's your fault. You had
It's
kids.
100% our decision. Yep.
Let's get our poll question in. It pertains to nepotism today.
Oh.
Do you like nepotism?
We were just talking about nepotism.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean.
Wow.
I wish I had some more. I mean, you?
Isn't that why you got this job?
No, unfortunately.
Because of your brother?
No, it's a little disappointing. I wish, believe me, if someone in my family could get me like elevated to something, I would be the first one in line. If my dad was in some sort of position of power.
I don't think nepotism exists if it's happening with you.
No, then it's just that
because in your head you're like, oh no, I'm really qualified.
I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
I always love it. Like I saw an interview the other day. I was listening to Conan O'Brien has his radio show, and he
has a radio show.
Yeah, he's got a radio show on.
You mean a podcast?
I think it's a radio show, podcast, whatever. And he had Tom Hanks's kid on there. And,
which one?
The good one.
Colin, not Chet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not Chet. I was waiting, to be honest with you, I was listening in hopes that they would start making fun of Chet, but I didn't hear that. But he actually had he had the balls to go down the road of basically claiming that he's not famous because Tom Hanks is his dad. I was like, seriously? He seemed like a wonderful individual.
See what I mean?
Until he said that.
But I was like, are you kidding me?
This is what I mean. I think
talking about breaking into the business and how challenging.
Yeah, life was no different for him.
I'm like, you jackwagon.
On his own merit.
Yeah, on your own merit.
He is a fine actor.
He is. He does a good job. But something tells me, just maybe, those first couple roles, having old Tommy there as that didn't do anything. They were talking about how he got into the business and drove off the road.
This is what I'm saying.
I don't have any nepotism, and I would like.
But this is what I'm saying. With people, when it's you,
yeah, it's never.
It's like I'm great. I'm great on my own. Yeah. I mean, my dad happens to be Tom Hanks, but I'm still a great actor.
I'm a self-made man. All I needed was an interest-free $3 million loan from my dad, and look at what I turned it into.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
What are you talking about? No, I made it all the way to the top.
Yeah, Well, anyway, what was I going to say?
We were talking about nepotism, and then there is no nepotism when it's happening to you.
Well, yeah, I just think because the alternative is not a good thought. It's like, oh man, I'm only here because of my parents or my brother.
I would embrace it,
and you can't listen. Let's carry this over because this will apply to our poll question. Right. What we're talking about here. Some of these people, man.
Yeah. Pull your head out.
Well, it's not their fault. It's just
at least you can at least acknowledge it.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to that kicking off the show next on The Fan.
Yeah.
poll question. As always, it is housed on the social media app now known as X. We're at 1080 The Fan. It is brought to you by AAA Heating and Cooling, a family business helping families for over 60 years. AAA, IAQ.com. Yesterday's poll question, which best describes Kyle Shanahan's poor record in the biggest games? There were two options on there. The first one was just a bad run at the blackjack table. The second was strategy gaffes and overthink. 51%, very split on this, said strategy gaffes and overthink.
Yeah, I went with the bad run.
49% said bad run at the blackjack table.
Yeah, that's me.
All right. And then today, the question is, and it's up there for you, so vote when you can. What is or would be the most egregious case of sports nepotism? Jack Collinsworth, Bronny James, if drafted, Brian Ferentz, or Thanasis on
How about Giannis's brother?
Giannis's brother.
Go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
Boy,
Because I am told that he is terrible.
he is awful.
Although he hit the Sham God the other night and everyone lost their minds.
All kinds of bad.
He hit the what?
The Sham God move, it's like a move that everybody loves when somebody does. It's like a kind of reverse crossover thing. He did it in a game and everyone lost their minds because he can never pull anything like that off.
Dude, that is one of the better poll questions that you have ever put up because I don't know how to answer that.
Well, you can make a case for all of them.
You can make a strong case. Like originally I was like, dude, I've been open. I hate Jack Collinsworth. I think he's terrible. He sucks. That is the only reason he has that job is because of his dad.
Well, the way you know that is, so that's Chris Collinsworth's kid.
Yes.
And he's on Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
But they created a thing for him. Like
Yes.
there was no guy
job.
was not down there.
No.
He's like does the sidelines or something. He's not even a sideline reporter.
He does a pregame sideline
pregame
with
sideline.
an analyst. It's like they just created a segment for him.
Chris Collinsworth basically said, I need my son to have a job and he needs to be on air. And they were like, okay, here. Like, that's, and then of course, Bronny James, already. But then Ferentz, he kept his job for how many years? Boy, and then the Antetokounmpo, I don't know. I'm confused.
Really good question.
I'm confused.
Who is it? Vote.
I think it's Ferentz.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Ferentz is the most
He would have been fired by any program in the country after even a year.
Maybe it's time to grab a hold of your little step ladders and go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
It's just that Ferentz has the most like what's the word? Like there's a lot of data there.
Yes.
With that one.
Yes.
Now, Jack Collins was just a broadcaster, so it's like, whatever. No one really cares.
He lasted.
Antetokounmpo is interesting because, I mean, there's no way that kid's in the league without his brother.
Zero chance. Zero.
But then you look at Bronny and you go, well, I mean, never underestimate.
He would probably still be a college basketball player, but probably not a starter for USC.
Is he even a starter?
Well,
I don't
know.
At this point?
No, he's just, I don't know if he starts.
He's
but
averaging 5 and 3.
But he plays college
He
basketball.
plays college basketball, yes.
Did Antetokounmpo? What's his story?
I don't know, whatever. I don't know where
I don't know if he played internationally first and then came over. I don't know.
Thanos.
He's so bad.
But never underestimate the absurdity of the NBA because just as you were scoffing at this yesterday, because, some people are going to look at this and scoff.
Yes.
I think there are some people that are going to look at this and scoff.
Probably Jared Goff is going to be scoffing at this.
Golf.
The story comes out today via Sports Illustrated that the Lakers are willing to explore drafting Bronny James to appease LeBron.
I love how they're willing to explore the idea.
No, they're just going to – no, you know what this means? This means they're going to draft him because they want to keep LeBron and they want to keep him happy.
So you are going to get a 6'4" shooting guard that can't shoot, shooting 27% from the college three-point line, who, by the way, has a major heart issue because, he collapsed, and he's not good in college, and he's going to be a one and done and get drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers. If that happens, then yes, the poll question will be amended because that will be the greatest case of sports nepotism of all time. 100%.
So what happens with LeBron if Bronny ends up just not being that good and has to stay another year and another year? Does LeBron just let go of this whole I'm going to play with my kid thing. So what if he doesn't come out?
Well, LeBron's still. The thing is,
he's still
LeBron.
good.
It's not like he's clinging.
No, I know, but doing it next year versus 4 years from now is a pretty big difference, depending on how much development Bronny needs.
He's not going to stay 4 years.
I wouldn't think so either. So where's the cutoff?
Probably next year. After next year,
Maybe.
I mean, you can't justify it this year, but get him into double digits in scoring. Lakers be like,
Can you
right.
imagine though the Heat? Not the Miami Heat, but just the general heat that the media would bring down upon the Laker organization if they draft his kid who doesn't start at USC and it's just a bad, like he's a below average freshman basketball player. And I would honestly, if I'm Bronny, I don't want that. Like, how would you like your entire reputation? And right now, he's got a great one. He makes a bunch of NIL money. He's got a great life. How would you like to be known as the biggest joke in sports? And because like we can joke all we want about nepotism, but
or how'd you like to feel that no one in the building, no one in the country thinks you belong there?
And you don't belong there.
Because you
and
don't.
Deep down, he has to know he can't get it done against Oregon. And like
He's young. What is he? 19?
He's 19 or 20. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe in a couple years, but. Like, if I was a freshman, I guess I didn't play until my freshman year at BYU, and I was like a part-time starter. Could someone come to me and be like, "Hey, dude, we're drafting you to the Chicago Bears"? I would be like, "Can you not?" Because I can't do that. Like, I can barely do that here. Like, I would think even Bronny gets into his dad's ear and be like, "Don't you dare! Don't you freaking dare pull that!"
Hey, he's a glue guy.
I guess.
I think I'm going to watch him tonight. They're on, I think, aren't they? They're playing Utah tonight. USC.
He's not
We'll
good.
find out.
He's not good.
Yeah, I think they're on tonight. I want to see him. I want to see. I'm going to be the judge of this.
Off of one game.
That's right.
One game.
Yeah, they're on FS1 tonight.
You're going to see him put up that sweet stat line of 3, 2, and 1 and be like, man.
No. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch how he helps his teammates, and I'm going to watch how he defends and slaps the floor and dives for loose balls and takes charges. That's what I'm going to watch.
I do remember, like, when he was playing for, like, the USA, whatever, he was, like, on the USA developmental team and, like, the McDonald's All-American team. There'd be headlines like Bronny impresses by proving that he belongs, and then he'd have like 7 points and 4 rebounds, and you're like, what?
Or Bronny drills 5 field goals in All-American game, and it's like he was 5 of 14.
I'm looking here at his some of his stat lines, and boy, they're impressive. Although he did have 11 points one game against Arizona.
See? Against the best team they played.
Is that his only double-digit scoring game?
See, he rises to the occasion.
No, it looks like he had an 11 and a 10.
You know what? Look, can I throw out another thing here?
Yeah.
To back my boy Bronny.
Yeah, let's do it.
Dude, he is probably having a time of his life. He's a freshman at USC. His dad is LeBron James.
And he's got a bunch of his own money.
He plays on the basketball team. He's got all this NIL money.
He's living like a penthouse thing, I think.
He's probably slaying. He doesn't care.
No.
Dude's on easy street.
His last 2 games were 6-3 and 5 and a big 5-5. 5 points, 5 boards.
Did you see
halfway
the 5?
to a double-double.
Did you see the 5?
I didn't see the 5.
Each one of them was critical. So the Lakers, per a high-ranking team source, are also willing to explore the notion of adding LeBron James next season. This according to Sam Amick of The Athletic. This stance, the source said, is rooted in the reality that James' happiness truly matters to the organization.
Boy.
I love this. I love it.
I'm kind of rooting for it now. I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
Just for the sake of the absolute S show that would be.
Well, and don't you think this will open a can of worms? LeBron, he's a trendsetter. He started the whole super team thing.
Everyone else's kids
can be like, well, LeBron did it. Because everyone thinks they're LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the NBA thinks they're way better than they are. And so they're probably all going to be like, yeah, my kid's coming up. You better draft him or else I'm leaving.
When someone's kid's like 5'9", like an 8-inch bird, like, dude, just the new Jeb Bushler, just put him on the bench. It makes me happy. Shut up.
The league is going to be full of old-ass veteran players and their terrible kids.
And don't forget Giannis's brother.
We've
got some brothers in there too. Well, if one of the Ball brothers was better, maybe they could have gotten that crappy third ball in there.
They tried. They really tried.
Where'd he go? He went to
Nowhere.
Europe?
He's lifting weights on Instagram now. But
I think he might have got a G League look at one point, but
his two brothers aren't good enough to get him in the league. So that's the thing. If you're going to pull this off,
You got to be LeBron.
you got to be good. No, I bet you. Well, I mean, Giannis has done it. LeBron, Jokic could do it.
Well, he doesn't have kids, does he?
Well, if he did,
look at his swole brothers.
Yeah,
Have you
get
seen
one
those
of-
guys?
I
They're
bet you. Yeah,
giants.
one of his weird swole
You
brothers.
could get him to be a goon at the end of your bench.
Absolutely. I promise you right now, if Jokic went to Denver and was like, dude, I'm going back to Serbia, and I will do it. You put my brother end of the bench. League minimum contract, the 15 spot, guarantee that
Those
gets
guys
done.
could fill out a uniform.
Guaranteed that gets done tomorrow.
Someone asked a very controversial question on the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. VancouverFord.com. Is this the one case that having a bad father like Michael Jordan is better for the kid? Because there's no way
Absentee landlord dad.
there's no way Jordan would do this for his slap D kids.
No, you wouldn't.
Excellent point.
That is true.
That's true.
Yes, that is-
Speaking of, did you see Jordan's kid who was getting it on with Miss Pippin?
yeah, they broke up. I
Yeah,
think.
she scrubbed her Instagram of any traces of him.
I'm sure he's really disappointed. Oh, like he can't go find some 45-year-old,
Larsa.
Yeah, I think he's doing just fine.
You know, my wife watches Real Housewives of Miami, and
Oh, yeah,
Larsa's-
she's one of 'em, huh?
She's on there.
She
Let
love
me
her
tell
or
you
hate her?
something. She is an idiot.
Yes.
And I mean idiot.
Sounds about right.
Grade A idiot.
I would expect nothing less. And something tells me Marcus is going to be just fine.
He'll be all right.
I'm guessing being
All right.
Jordan's kid, while your dad wasn't around much, I'm guessing that opens plenty of doors.
Still has a windfall, I think.
I mean, you know what Marcus does for a job, right? He sells Jordan shoes. He has a shop down in like Miami where he sells rare and one-off, like, unique Jordan brand stuff. I wonder
Where does he get those?
I wonder where he gets it. Hey, you know what? He built that business on his own too. No help from dad. No help
Blood, sweat, and
whatsoever.
tears.
So it is nepotism.
At least from his business model.
You know, it's interesting. Like, if I were really rich and I had, I just don't know what I would.
I'm really rich.
I don't know how I'd handle that with my kids.
Even if you did it, it's like with Jordan, he does it begrudgingly.
Right.
He's like, dude,
Like, you kind of have to.
you can't. Yeah. He comes to you. He's like, Dad, I got this idea. I'm going to sell I'm going to open my own shoe store, and it's going to be high end, and we're going to sell exclusive stuff. And he's like, that's awesome. And he's like, all I need from you is all the product. And you're like, God. And I'm sure he gave him a business card of someone at the Jordan brand and was like, don't bother me with this again. Just here, shut up and go away.
Remember when we had him on? It was Warren Buffett's kid.
Yeah.
Wrote a book about this.
And he didn't do squat.
What do you mean? Didn't do
Buffett
so?
did not silver spoon his kids.
He has not. But he did. They're in the will.
Yeah.
I mean, they are going to get money.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get generational wealth.
Yeah,
I think is the way
I think
he
he
put it.
said something of we're going to get enough where we can do what we want to do, but we don't get enough to where we can do nothing.
Right. And he was pretty cool. I remember this was years ago on our show. He wrote a book and was making the rounds. We had him on, and it was interesting. You know, the way Warren Buffett's handled it, that's about as good as you can.
Yeah.
Because I just imagine that's not
If I was
easy.
his kid, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, you son of a... Listen
But
here,
see-
old man.
Would you, like, I also still kind of feel like his kids are golden, right? It's like,
Yeah, I know.
okay, yeah, he says he's not giving you and a lot of it's going to go to charity and stuff. He's so wealthy. It's like, why do you even want that? Like, you don't even, it's so absurd how much money he has. But I don't know. It changes. Like, even if you go through life, like, doing your own thing, you still have that safety net. Like, that's not, it changes everything. Your life is different.
Probably.
So it's easy to say, well, I've done it all myself. And
I'm going to look it up. 'Cause, I think... Look, if your dad's worth billions and when he dies, you get a check for like $1 million, I'm sure it's awesome. But at the same time, you're like,
I think it's more than $1 million.
I'm going to look it up. I want to
Yeah.
see.
See if you can find that out. It's out there.
Yeah.
But it's not, they're not getting tens of billions.
It's disappointing.
That's the poll question. What is or would be the most egregious case of sports nepotism Jack Collinsworth, Bronny James if drafted, Brian Ferentz, or Thanasis Antetokounmpo. That is on X at 1080 The Fan. Vote hard. Isaiah Stewart, Drew Eubanks, and High T. Next, here's Buck. Somebody brought up Mike Golick Jr.
Yeah, that's true.
I have not. Well, we're talking about nepotism in sports. I have not consumed any Mike Golick Jr. Is he a lot like his daddy?
Yeah, he had his own ESPN show for a while, and right out of, because he was
with Senior and Wingo for a while.
Yeah, and then he did his own thing. He had one of the national shows.
It used to precede us on 1080 at the 6 a.m. show.
But I'm not certain what he does anymore. But he got the Collinsworth fast track to ESPN.
Is he good? Is he like his dad? I thought his dad was good.
He's very similar.
I think he definitely got that job because of nepotism, but I think he's better than Collinsworth is.
Yeah.
Is he? Is he better than his dad?
I don't know about that.
No.
I mean, his dad's a legend, but he's not. When you listen to him, he's not terrible.
It's not glaringly like, oh, this guy shouldn't be there. Like, he can hold his own a little bit.
But he wouldn't have had that job if not for his dad. Now, I did find some Warren Buffett stuff.
Yeah.
So he's got 3 kids. The one we interviewed was Peter. Mm-hmm. And so
he wrote a book, right?
He wrote a book. So Warren Buffett, by the way, who is worth $130 billion.
Jesus.
Yeah, and he's given away $48 billion in his life
already,
and
Damn,
he's going to give.
Yeah, he'll give most of those guys all just give it to charity, right?
Yeah, it's going to go. They're just like you're.
I mean, you're not even allowed to pass that kind of wealth down. It's so much.
Yeah, so
people will shame you.
What he did with his kids is. And Peter did say, I was reading the story in Forbes, I guess like in 2006, Peter had fallen on some harder times for him, and he asked his dad for his loan. His dad said no.
For a loan?
For a loan.
How much did he want?
He just said he asked his dad for a loan. He was trying to do some things.
Damn, that's savage.
And he said no.
The guy's worth $130 billion, and he said no?
He said no. So he did. He said that what Warren Buffett did is he gave each one of his kids, when they turned 18, he gave them like $100,000 in his stock. Okay. What is it, the Berkshire or whatever?
Absolutely, yeah.
And they could do what they wanted with it. Okay. But he told them to invest it.
Keep it.
And then as they got older and they graduated, he set up nonprofit organizations for them. So they all run nonprofits. Oh. And they get their salaries from that is their job. They run, and some of them do different things. Like Peter does, he composes music and stuff, but they get their salaries off of a nonprofit. And he started each one of their nonprofits with $20 million. And then he did a separate fund where each year each nonprofit gets about $100 million.
Whoa. So
their job, they run a nonprofit that each year gets funded with $100 million, and they can do what they want with that, including pay themselves.
So did he creates the nonprofits based on the interest of the kids?
Yes. So he went to each kid and was like, what
kind of nonprofit would you want?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Like one does farming and agriculture and lives still is in Missouri where his dad lives, or Kansas or wherever.
He lives in Nebraska.
So one of them lives by the dad and does farm stuff. So his nonprofit is to help like agriculture. Another one does like an arts program. So anywho, the dad set up this massive nonprofit for each one of his kids, and that's what the kids do. They run that nonprofit, and he said they can use that money for the nonprofit, including, he does admit in there, he goes, including our salary. Now, it doesn't say what the salaries are, but I'm assuming with $100 million nonprofit every year, I'm guessing you pay yourself a decent hunk.
$99 million.
And then when he dies, there will be no money. There is no inheritance.
Really?
No.
I thought he left him each.
But each nonprofit will get $2.5 billion to do whatever they want.
So what happens if they run the nonprofit into the ground? Of course, that's probably hard to do with $100 million infusion.
Yeah. And then when he dies, you get an infusion of $2.5 billion.
So he basically
it doesn't sound, by the way, like the kids are idiots.
No,
it sounds like they're all pretty sharp kids.
I didn't think Peter was. Peter, is that what you said?
Peter is the one that we.
Yeah, I thought he was actually quite sharp. His book is called "Life Is What You Make It: Find Your Own Path to Fulfillment."
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure they're great. It's just, but he gave them their. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Like they couldn't forge their own path. Like here's what you're doing. But at least he asked them what they...
Well, you could turn down and say, I don't want to run your nonprofit.
And then what? Get nothing?
And then you probably get nothing. But you know what?
I don't know, man.
That's kind of cool in that you do get to pick whatever you're passionate about. And by the way, you can, like I said, Peter does other things. He just collects a salary off of the nonprofit.
I see.
I would love to know what that salary is.
I see where Warren my man Warren is going with this.
Yeah.
I see it. I can.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It does. It's very clear. At the same time, I don't love it.
You say just give him the money?
No, I don't think that. I think there needs to be more wiggle room for the kids to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like you basically just said, here's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't love that.
I'm guessing Peter's not going to complain. By the way, I looked up.
But what if Peter loves music or
That's
writing?
right.
He does. He's a Grammy. He's won a Grammy. He's like a music producer and
Yes,
composer.
but what he
But
was
what if,
not
I guess, what
allowed-
if he had pursued that
Correct.
in its entirety instead?
well, are we going to try to pretend that you have to spend a bunch of your time running the nonprofit? Come on. He basically said, here's a place that you can draw a salary from every year and do whatever the hell you want. By the way, I
So
looked
is this
it up.
all just tax breaks for him?
Probably. Peter, they say, is worth about $200 to $300 million.
Really?
Yeah.
And how is that?
His nonprofit gets $100 million every year. That's not a one-time gift.
Okay, but that's not to him.
But he runs the nonprofit.
Okay, but what do you think his
But he
salary
can't
is?
profit from it. It's a nonprofit.
In your face, bitch!
Here's the thing. How much you want to bet that the house he lives in is owned by the nonprofit? The private jet that he flies around in is for nonprofit purposes. And I don't know if there's a limit to your salary that you can grant yourself on a nonprofit, but I'm guessing it's a significant salary. Oh,
So
and by the way,
basically
then
it's
he
all a scam.
It seems that way.
Are the nonprofits doing anything good for anyone other than them?
Yeah, it sounds like when I was the article in Fortune, yeah, they do a lot.
I don't love it. I don't love it, guys. I got to tell you. That said, if
Yeah.
we had Warren in here on the show,
Yeah.
my buddy, and we were talking about this, I don't know what a better idea is. That's what I was saying. Like when you get super rich, filthy rich,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would handle. I mean, like generational wealth rich, billions. I don't know how I would handle that with my kids. My kids would probably be silver spoon little D-bags. You know? I don't know. I hope they wouldn't, but
I think this, honestly, I think this is smart because, like you said, you're not just giving your kids $1 billion. You're forcing them to kind of work for it. They're picking something they can be passionate about and do good work.
yeah.
I mean,
Again, like I said, I see the path. At the same time, he basically just like who is worth $200 and $300 million running a nonprofit?
Peter.
Give me a break.
Isaac's kids would be like Hunter Biden, like water slides and hookers.
Yeah, keep me out of the news, kid.
Well, I would do something like if I had to do one, I would do one for like I would do like a children's, like adopted children. I would do something like that because that's kids. That's really an expensive
And then
process.
get rich off of it.
Well, yes.
I mean, come on, dude.
Why not?
He just said, yeah.
I would get rich off of it. Why not? They're giving. Yeah, he pledged 12.2 million shares of his Class B stock that gets broken up into annual gifts, averaging $100 million for each one of his kids' charity. And then on his deathbed, his estate is fully redistributed. Each organization is set to receive $2.5 billion total.
So it's a way for him to keep his money in the family.
Yeah.
Without, because like Paul Allen doesn't have kids.
No.
Like the vast majority of his wealth is going to, it's just gone, right? Like, well, not gone, but it's going to nonprofits and different charities.
Yeah.
This way, the long game here is that he keeps the money in the family.
Pretty much. And again, I'm sure there's huge tax implications to this where you don't have to get it sliced a million different ways. And, I don't know.
He's 93, by the way. Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Peter is an Emmy-winning musician and composer. He has 2 children, and his daughter is an artist designing NFTs.
See what I mean?
The passion, I don't know, it's his kid. It's like, hey, what do you do?
That's what I'd do if I were a billionaire's kid too.
Chose a career that generates no revenue.
What do you do? I make BFTs. What is it? What are they called?
NFTs.
They're non-fungible tokens.
So Howard Buffett is the eldest, and he has farms in Nebraska and Illinois.
He's a farmer?
He's a farmer, and that's what I said. He's a farmer, and his foundation commits resources to agricultural solutions to end world hunger
Love
and
that.
conflict mitigation globally.
But does he really farm?
Well,
Or does he live on a really, really nice ranch?
he owns farms.
I'm going to look here.
And then Susie,
God, he's
she
old.
runs the Sherwood Foundation, that is in Nebraska, and it supports a range of nonprofits, including child development. And she's a chair of the nonprofit that Warren established in honor of his late wife, the Susan Thompson Buffett Foundation. There you go.
Well, I think that's great. Like I said, I don't know. I would like to be presented. I would like 5 billionaires to come in here and present to us their ideas for how they've handled their wealth with their children.
Well, I know.
Because I don't know that Warren Buffett's, even though that's I see the route, I like it, I don't think that's the best way to go.
I know a billionaire who listens to the program.
Get him in here.
And he has one child.
Get him in. Let's go. He can be the first to present to me.
Henry, let's do it. He did say that he would come on and do, I said we want to do Ask a Billionaire.
Well, I haven't seen him yet, so.
I'll text him and his assistant will get back to me in 7 months. Henry, if you're out there listening, we're coming for you.
Could we book 5 billionaires?
I know one, and I will be lucky to book him.
Could we book 5 billionaires?
No.
No.
You don't think so?
No. I think we can book one.
We could get Cubes, maybe.
I bet we could get Henry's partner, the guy that was going to buy
3,
the
right?
W. That's 2.
Well, you said his partner.
Yeah, Henry and his partner. It's 2. Where are you
Wait,
getting
is he
3?
gay?
No, his partner that started the
No,
business.
so we
with
get
him.
3 if we get cubes, because
Not that
Isaac
there's
thinks we
anything-
get Cuban.
We're not getting cubes.
You could.
Maybe
Well,
he's
I think
hawking
we got
something,
it.
maybe.
You got a shot at
Okay,
Cubes.
so that's maybe 3.
You got a shot at
We got a
Cubes.
shot. So we got 2. 1 for certain. 2
Could we get
probably.
Jody?
Can we get Phil Knight?
Yeah, we're gonna get Jody.
What, is Bert Cold a billionaire?
No. Jody's not a billionaire.
What about
guess
Phil?
that's
Could we
true.
get Phil?
No.
I've tried.
Yeah. Jody's not a billionaire. She's
We
not
have
even-
access to
she's not-
potentially get an idea or to get the idea to Phil, but it's not.
No.
Not at this.
And,
It's
and
just
that's Jody's not even close to a
not.
billionaire.
Colin got Phil once.
Really?
Remember that?
Back
on,
in the day?
on the Fan. Yeah, I was his update guy. He was when it did a show out at Nike. All right, we got a break. When High Tea meets High Tea, Isaiah Stewart, Drew Eubanks edition. Next on the Fan.
The Fan invites you to play in the first annual Fan
right, moving on. Nepotism has taken up the whole damn hour.
It happens. By the way, I looked it up. Jody technically is worth $20 billion now.
Is she?
Well, she controls the Paul Allen Trust, and that trust is worth $20 billion, and no one else owns it. So she technically, like when you look at, she's like the fourth richest owner in sports. Because it's
so, but that's
like
not hers though.
Well, but it kind of is. I mean,
no, it isn't.
She runs the trust, and there's no other.
But that's like saying
I don't.
That's like that's like saying a CEO of a company is the owner. Like that's not true.
I'm just saying, if you look up her net worth, technically it says $20 billion, and then in all the articles, it kind of is like, well, I mean, she got all the money from Paul, but it's not.
Well, where did the rest of his money go? He was worth more than that, I thought.
Well, I think a lot of it got donated, and I think all of this is supposed to get donated, but until it does, she has it and controls it, and no one really can question it.
So you think she's pulling off some massive loans off of that that nest egg there?
According to the one article that I saw, that they say that her salary off of this is somewhere around $150 million.
What? Salary?
Salary.
Does that mean annually?
That would be a salary, yeah.
$150 million? Well,
$20 billion estate.
To run the trust? Like, what does she do every day?
Well,
what does she do all day?
Well, this is why I said, like, when people were like, why isn't she selling?
That's like roughly $400K a day, right?
If you're paying yourself and you're the only one that's running it, who's going to question it? Like, if you were making 150 mil and she's going to get a percentage of stuff that sells, what advantage does she have to sell anything?
So she's just going to ride it out?
Well, why?
What happens if she kicks and it's not gone?
I don't know.
She doesn't have kids either, does she?
Yeah, she's got kids. She was married.
Does?
She was married with a couple kids.
Oh, I didn't think either of them had kids.
She was married to a golf course manager, but they divorced.
You're kidding?
No, they divorced in like 2009.
What club? I
don't know.
Huh.
But yeah, she's got a couple kids. But when I saw that, the estimated salary at 150 mil, I was like,
damn, dude.
I mean, I knew she made money off of running that.
Sure.
Which is why I
should
always
have gotten something.
Which is why I always said, like, there's no way she's going to sell anytime soon. She's just built, and she gets a percentage of stuff that gets sold off. So it behooves her to just keep it around. I just didn't realize it was that. That's a nice little paycheck.
So she's slow playing this, so her kids get it all.
Well, why wouldn't you?
And so she gets $150 million a year, and then her kids get the 20 bill. I mean, they don't get it, but you know what I mean. They're in charge of it.
They're in charge of it, and then they can take their salary. And,
I don't know, man.
And maybe the kids have some role in it. I don't know, but again, I just am asking what. In her interest, why does she want to sell that? Because every year she waits around, the Seahawks and Blazers just keep going up and up, and she just keeps writing checks and is like, yeah, I'm handsomely paid. You know what? She's worth every penny according to her. And I can't fault her because I'd be doing the exact same damn thing, and so would you. I'm a little disappointed she didn't write herself a bigger salary.
You think it's all in there? Like she couldn't...
I'm guessing that maybe
she's being humble.
I'm guessing that some of this stuff was probably laid out.
150 mil. Look, I'm going to be nice here, and I'm only going to take 150 million a year. Okay, I'm just going to be cool. I'm cool.
It's the family.
I don't need much.
It's the family discount.
I don't need much.
But like all his homes and stuff, she owns those. Like all the residents, those are technically hers right now.
Huh. It appears that his golf course was Willow's Run in Redmond.
Wow, that guy. Wow.
At least that's what my quick Google search.
The owner of the course, or did you say golf course? Like
I just looked up his name in golf course. What did you say his job was, Sue? He managed or ran or designed?
It was a golf. They said golf course management.
Okay.
So he probably okay.
But they divorced a long time ago.
Damn it!
All I know is she gets to show up to all Paul's homes and be like, my home now. No one owns them but her. Well, the trust owns them, and she runs the trust. So those are her homes.
Yeah, they don't take the keys away.
Are there any watchdogs on this? Over the Metropolitus?
I don't know how all that works. But if there's not, hey-o!
Right.
Are we nominating ourselves?
Scrooge McDuck style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'll do it.
I think Burt Cold's probably a watchdog. Yes, Jody, I think you're making sound decisions.
Watchdogs over the Metropolitus.
I love it.
All right, now
we
we get to high tea talk next on the Fan.
100% stupid.
All right, welcome back. We're back on track. Okay, so
We've got to absolutely nothing today.
we've got to, Mister.
Nepotism.
Yeah, we're talking sports, kind of.
Sort of.
I wanted to get to the Drew Eubanks thing
Yeah.
because, well, this is video we need to see.
Yeah,
We need to see this. Drew Eubanks was sucker punched, in his own words,
Yeah.
by Beef Stew.
And by the way, I guess beef stew is like terrifying.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not to be messed with.
no one wants anything to do with beef stew. If you remember, he's the guy, Isaiah Stewart, who goes by Beef, which is just such a great nickname, by the way.
He plays for the Pistons.
Plays for the Pistons. He's the guy that lost it trying to murder LeBron James. And there's also a great clip of Draymond, who doesn't mind mixing it up. He gets into it, or Beef gets into it with Draymond, and Draymond wants none of it. He like hugs him and is like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
whoa.
Draymond usually wants all the smoke. I saw that clip today. Draymond wanted nothing to do with him.
No, and like anyone that's been in a locker room knows that in every locker room or in every league, there's a handful of guys that you don't want anything to do with, because a lot of guys are pretend tough guys, and then occasionally there's a guy that's really all about it, and it sounds like Beef's all about it, and Drew Eubanks found that out.
Former Blazer Beef Stew. You remember that?
I don't remember Isaiah
Wait,
Stewart.
former Blazer
You talking
Drew
about
you.
Drew Eubanks?
Also former Blazer.
Wait, Stewart was a Blazer?
Isaiah Stewart was on the.
Well, he was drafted by the Blazers, and then he was dealt in the Trevor Ariza for Bob Covington deal.
Blazer great.
So we could have had the enforcer Beef Stew.
Blazer great.
They could have been teammates.
How about that?
Ain't gonna be no buddy stuff.
Well, I mean, he was a Jesuit kid, right?
Who? Not
Isaiah
Beef
Stewart.
Stew.
Yeah, Beef Stew.
Was he?
Yeah, and then he went to UW. I mean, I don't know if
Where's he from?
Like he was born in Rochester, New York, but when I saw Jesuit, okay, so that's New York Jesuit. I thought
McQuaid
maybe
Jesuit.
yeah, I thought maybe that was here because he went to Washington. Because when I looked him up, it said Jesuit, and I was like, Washington. I was like, did he go to high school here? No, Jesuit across, but he played it at UW.
Well, anyway, all that we've seen so far is that Eubanks tonight said that he was coming into the arena. Mm-hmm. Words were exchanged, and Eubanks said he got sucker punched. And then security intervened. Stewart was arrested, cited, and then released. No video is out yet. And then there's also a war of words between Monty Williams and the Suns.
Yeah, because the Suns came out and did the whole "there's no place for this" and we're a brotherhood and you don't do this.
Well, they said it was unprovoked.
Which I find that to be.
And then Monty Williams said, whoa. How do you even know that? You don't know that.
The first report we all saw yesterday is they were face-to-face, chest-to-chest before this all happened. So that doesn't sound unprovoked.
Dude, Isaiah Stewart is not just going to punch Drew Eubanks for no reason.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's not his fault, but come on, man.
Yeah, anytime you hear these stories and it's like, oh man, I was standing there minding my own business. I was like, hey, what's up, dude? And the dude punches me. And there's more to it than that. Now, Isaiah Stewart clearly has a history of being a little off kilter. And so maybe this was a serious overreaction. But
I'm sure it was.
I would like to see the reaction. I would like to see what led to this. Was this a misunderstanding? Again, names being called? And the chest-to-chest thing matters, because if Eubanks was walking by and you sucker punch him, you're a coward. But I'll go to my grave, and I've said this many a time. If you go chest to chest with another man, or you put your hands on another man in a shoving type motion, you better be ready for hands to fly. That's like the Jordan Poole thing. Everyone's like, oh, Jordan Poole got sucker punched. No, Jordan Poole shoved Draymond Green. If you shove another grown man, you better put your hands up. And if you go chest to chest and you're yelling with another man, you better be prepared for someone to throw a fist. So I would like to wait and see what happens, because if they're yelling at each other chest to chest, I got zero issue with Beef Stewart dropping a two-piece on him.
Well, I know you all know me as a very tough, manly fighter.
Clearly.
Of high tea.
Yes.
It's like shockingly.
You're often unhinged on the golf course.
Yes.
I've seen it.
It's where the hard dudes are. I know I'm known as that. But let me just say, from a lay perspective here, based on what you're saying, I've always kind of thought when you go chest to chest with another dude, you are signaling, hey, I'm ready to fight.
Yes.
So if it does, most guys don't want to fight.
No.
And so, hold me back, bro. It's like that type of thing. But if you bow up.
You
have now signaled, okay,
yeah.
if this escalates, I'm ready.
That's why I said, until I make any sort of judgment on this, I would like to see the video. Because again, there's a difference between words being exchanged and someone walking away and then getting drilled or hitting you from behind versus, like you said, chest to chest, hands on someone, nose to nose. You better be prepared. I've never understood the pretend tough guy. I feel like I'm going to get in your face, bump you, and then yell at you, and then I'm upset when hands throw.
Do we think Eubanks maybe effed around and found out here?
Look, no one wants to back down, and this is the problem in any sort of these situations. No one wants to back down. But like I said, most of those people don't want anything to do with it. And so you get two guys that are yelling and screaming, but no one wants anything to go any further. The problem is that when you F around and find out, occasionally you do run into the guy that doesn't mind throwing hands.
Yeah, I just wonder what started. It's like, dude, it's the Suns against the Pistons.
Yeah, in the back alleyway.
It's 2 hours before the game.
What?
No one cares about the game, not even the players. The Pistons have won like 5 games all year.
There had to have been some previous thing where they had a tiny scuffle and Stewart saw him and said something and that set it off.
Yeah,
he made fun of his flat top. Like what?
There had to have been something prior. Because I just don't know how you're talking S walking up the breezeway.
There's no way it was just an unprovoked, especially like you're talking S to allegedly one of the scariest dudes in the NBA that no one wants. Like, come on. Like, what? I need to know. And I'm siding with Monty Williams.
I think Stewart said something to him. Eubanks said something back so he didn't look like a bitch. And then Stewart's like, oh, really? And then hit him.
That is true. That does happen.
Like, Eubanks might have tried to stand up for himself or for his team, and it just didn't go well.
We had one of my buddies at BYU was a terrifying individual, and he could have murdered me. And that happened. Where he said something to me and I said something back because I didn't want to be a bitch. And then he took it to the next level and I was like, crap.
Uh-oh.
And I was just like, I was trying to figure out how not to look like a punk ass. But also
how to get out of it.
So I was talking, and all I'm just telling you the whole time I was like, please just someone, and people broke it up. And the best part was after it was done, and we were buds. We were friends. We were roommates at one point. He came by and he's like, hey man, sorry. I was like, no, I'm sorry. And he just leans, puts his arm around me and goes, I would have killed you, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. And he's like, you were scared, right? I'm like, yeah, terrified. He's like, all right, just so I could admit to being a bitch away from everybody. It's just like, thank you for letting me save face. And then I said, thank you for not murdering me. Because he was that guy. I didn't mind throwing hands with a lot of people, but he was different. So, you got to know your pecking order. And it's possible that Eubanks found out. But we'll see.
We have, I don't want to say the word. We have the S word.
Oh.
Coming up next. You know what I mean?
The good S word?
Not like the 4-letter S word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Well, you guys, many of you aren't golfers.
Oh.
But we have a shank.
Oh, I saw this.
We have a shank.
I got this shot.
It's 418 on the Fan.
Yeah.
Duke on 1080 The Fan.
Okay, now to golf. Finally, a real sport. Tiger Woods is back on the PGA Tour. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did. In his new Sunday red.
But he wasn't wearing red.
No, it was Sunday red black.
Yeah. But he's got his new logo all over him.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, rightly so.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's back. He hasn't played for a while. This is his tournament in LA. This is the one where he got in the car wreck.
Yeah, this is Genesis.
The Genesis Invitational at the Riv.
Yes.
So he had an up and down day. Going into 18, he had 5 birdies and 5 bogeys. He was even par. Hits the fairway, shanks it.
Yeah, and not just
Cold
yeah.
shank.
Boy, it's something.
Hosel rocket, dead right into the trees, and he makes bogey. So he ends up shooting 1 over. He's like, I don't know. He's not great, not terrible, just not great.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. But it's just weird to see
Cold shank,
Tiger hit something like that. Although
which we've all hit.
yeah, I think he said that he had a back spasm during.
Well,
his
I've got
swing.
his audio here. I want to play it for you because, of course, it's the talk of like he could have been 17 under.
Yeah.
If he shanks it on 18, that's what they want to talk about.
Well, this just isn't. You just don't see this.
Well, guys do shank it out on tour. Like there's a lot of actually good shank video out there, and I watch enough golf that dude, it does happen. These guys.
I saw Roy once from the edge of the water. He duffed one and it went like 5 feet and went in the drink, and he was just trying to have a little lob wedge over it.
A duff is different than a shank.
I'm just saying,
a shank is when you hit it up. You don't hit the club face. You hit the freaking hosel.
Yeah.
And it's a terrifying shot. Remember, I told you when I had the shanks really bad, it just so happened I was invited to the LPGA Pro-Am.
Yeah.
And that's like a scramble, and you're with a bunch of guys and then the player. And so you're down the middle of the fairway every time, right?
Yeah.
So and then everyone hits a shot and you take the best one. Every single approach shot into the green. I'm just standing over it, just terrified.
Right? Yeah.
Like I could not correct it.
Yeah.
It is a horrible feeling. The shank is like the worst. For those that don't golf, the shank is the worst thing in golf, and you're not even supposed to say the word.
No.
But I have to because I'm on the radio.
And if you get them,
it can be really bad because what happens is you for the worst problem with shanks is you don't know how to correct them. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I became a better golfer because I had the shanks, and I had them really bad to the point where I wanted to quit. I'm like, I can't figure this out. This is terrifying. I hate this. But I became a better golfer because what I did was with the help of Bruce Furman out at Langdon, I figured out why I was doing it. Right, so you learn the golf swing better when you shank it, because it's like, don't do this, do that. It's like, oh, okay, now I understand what I need to do if it pops up again. Yeah. Well, it pops up with pros. Like golf coaches will tell you, good players will have shanks from time to time. It's just a thing that happens, but they know how to correct them. I did not. And it got to the point where I think that LPGA golfer, remember, that's right before they play in the tournament.
Yeah.
She wanted nothing to do it. Like, she didn't even want to talk to me. Like, I was half hoping she would come over and be like, hey, why don't you, here's what I see.
She was afraid she was going to catch him by osmosis.
Yeah, she's like, dude.
You were contagious.
Get out of here. I hate you.
Get that plague away from me.
I was never invited back to that, by the way. But it's terrifying, the shanks. So they asked Tiger about his shank, and here's what he said.
Tiger, I'm not going to say the word, but on 18...
Oh, I shanked it.
What happened there, and is that still a shock to the system for you when that happens?
Well, my back was spasming in the last couple holes, and it was locking up, so I came down, and it didn't move. And I presented Hosel first, and shanked it.
When's the last time you hit a shank, Tiger? Think you can remember?
It's been a while. It's definitely been a while. Other than trying to hit flop shots and other kind of weird shots around the greens, not from the position I was at.
Haven't heard back spasms mentioned. Have you dealt with them recently at all during competition rounds?
Not competition rounds, but at home, yes.
At home you have?
A lot, yeah.
Do you have any idea why it...
because my back's fused.
Yeah, so Tiger's in rare form. It's like, look, I shanked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had back spasms. Why is your back spasm? Because it's fused. So it all makes sense. Yeah.
I've never related to Tiger Woods more.
Right.
He's just old and broken and
He's
he
like,
hurts. And I'm like, and he shanks. I'm like, we're the same. I got this. I need to buy some Sunday Red now and go out and shank.
Well,
it is alarming when you see the shot because they got the ball tracer on it and
it's so penal.
It's a doozy.
It's so penal. It just goes for righties. It just goes dead right.
Yeah, I don't know how far he was out, but it was just a little approach shot and he could see the green and he just.
Yeah.
That just there's
good times.
That's something great. Like you're the driving range and you feel like you're in a good rhythm, and then you just hit one and you're like, whoa.
I don't know about you, but I'll shank them off of mats quite a bit.
Yeah,
and not quite a bit, but they pop up on mats. I don't really know why that is, but I will instantly shut it down. Like the second, the second I shank a shot, warming up, I just block it out. I go up and putt, and then I go play. And I've never really have a problem with them, but
I just go take out like a lob wedge or something, and I go backwards. No matter what I'm hitting, just take out a wedge and go back to kind of half swings, and that usually kind of gets me pointed in the right direction.
I hear somebody who said they've had the shanks before, and they knew exactly why they were doing it, and they still couldn't fix it. Took them 2 weeks. Yeah, dude, it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
Mental block for sure.
Like old Chucky Knobloch, right? Not being able to throw the ball to first.
So what's worse, the shanks or the yips? Yips are when you can't make short putts.
I would assume the shanks.
Or the cold topsies off of the tee.
Yeah,
I get those from time to time.
Where you're hitting the ground balls, and
I hate that.
Well, I would say that the shanks or the topsies are worse because it's embarrassing. I mean, at least if you're missing putts or whatever, it's like whatever. But man, when you're out there with a group of people and you've got a case of the shankies or the topsies, do you just feel like an ass clown?
Yeah.
Like and I've seen plenty of dudes that just leave like in the middle of the round. They're like, I'm not doing this. That happens for like 4 or 5 holes in a row. Yeah, you're just like whatever.
I think topping it's the absolute worst because you're not picking the ball up and putting it in the air. At least the shank you can, I don't want to say at least get distance. It's going totally the wrong way. But topping it, like, did you see the Tom Brady top at Pebble? I mean, it hurt me watching him do it. I was embarrassed for him, and he's Tom freaking Brady.
Yeah, he topped it. And that's the thing. You see like those guys that play in those celebrity pro-ams, those aren't necessarily great golfers, and there's a lot of people watching. Like, I mean, I know you've I've only played in one pro-am, and there's not like there's big galleries, but the idea of lining up in an actual gallery where you have the first 30 yards of the tee box line with people, I can't think of anything more terrifying. I would be looking at every one of those people and being like, I would not be there if I were you. Like, that's just, this is a terrible idea, folks. You do not know where this is gonna go. I got sweaty palms and a nervous keister. I would not be there. Isn't that like Barkley, right? Isn't that the genesis of Barkley's hitch?
So he said
he hit a spectator at an event.
I think that's the legend. The lore is that's why
he's got that hitch.
Yeah,
that they can't break. Hank Haney tried to work with him and he couldn't.
Yeah,
I thought it got better. Did it get better?
He's better now.
I think it's still there.
I mean, he still sucks, but he's better now.
That hitch is gone?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he doesn't have the thing he used to have where he would physically stop and his body would wobble and shake.
That's what he's saying.
Like,
the hitch.
That's gone.
He fixed it. Well, he's done I think there was a whole TV show on it.
Yeah.
Wasn't there?
That was Hank Haney did a whole thing with him.
But I mean, after that, where he's got it I don't know. Who cares? He's not any good anyway.
I just know that they did a special with him and Hank where they did like a 5-part thing where they were going to try to fix it.
I remember that. Well, Tiger, he's like you and I. Yet another thing Tiger and I have in common.
Yes. You and your Sunday Reds.
The shanks. In the news is coming up next. Does the public believe in abolishing daylight saving time in Oregon? Do they? Do they? Do they? That's next. Here's Buck. Hop and Souk. It is February 15, 2024. It is time now for In the News. I am your noted newsman. Hello, thank you. Thank you so much.
I can't even imagine.
Please be seated. Today is National Hippo Day.
Oh, go hippos. Scary things. Maybe the least...
I don't think you're saying that if you're in Colombia.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the hippo, I think it's starting to get the credit it deserves. It's the animal that people probably are afraid of least, that they should be afraid of the most. Like hippos.
Why are people not afraid of
I don't know, because I think maybe it's the Hungry Hippo game, or like people think hippos are like these like cuddly big. They think they're like manatees, when in reality they're just absolute horses' asses, bullies, and they bite crocodiles in half. Like everything's terrifying.
So you know that Pablo Escobar had hippos, cocaine hippos.
Yep.
And they were left at his estate, and they have now grown
and gotten out.
There's like 170 of them now.
Yeah, they're just out there and they're breeding, and now they got all these hippos that aren't native to the place that are just like no one knows what to do with them.
And they're saying that by 2035 there could be 1,000 of them.
I'm just trying to think, like, of the wild animals that you could encounter, hippo's like top 5 most terrifying. Those things can run, like they are just...
Wouldn't you just hope they leave you alone, though?
That'd be the only thing. But I mean, just seeing one in like up close, or like if you seen like that video where the boat and the hippo's like following it, I'd poop myself.
Well, they don't swim.
No,
right?
they just run and
they
float.
run on the base of or on the ground.
Yeah, and then like propel themselves.
And they bounce.
Fan personality Will Darkins has long maintained he could rope-a-dope a hippo. He could just, outrun it, keep going in circles, and eventually tire it out.
It is the dumbest take that's ever been said on these airwaves.
Boy, that's a bold statement, but I tend to agree.
Yes.
There's been a lot of dumb, but that's if he really... I always thought he was joking about that. He really believes that?
I think he thinks that, he could do enough zigging and zagging. It either, yes, it has the straight line speed, but probably doesn't have the agility of that size. He thinks he's got the stamina to take care of that situation.
They can run at almost 30 miles per hour.
And he thinks if he runs in circles and zigzags, that won't be a problem.
They run as fast as Usain Bolt.
But wait, I thought he said he could, take one out.
No. He thought that he could do run long enough, like the rope-a-dope, to tire it out so that they wouldn't be able to get him.
It's just
fantastic.
Something that's that big, that runs faster than the fastest human and bites 20-foot crocodiles in half.
I'm not the one saying I could rope-a-dope a hippo. I agree with you. He could not.
It is also Singles Awareness Day.
Oh, well, that day after Valentine's.
Does the public believe in abolishing daylight saving time in Oregon? We're still trying to do this.
I know. I saw this today. I thought years ago we agreed that this was going to go down.
We did, but don't we all have to agree, and then Congress has to?
I don't know. Arizona doesn't have it. And
neither does Hawaii.
Yeah, it wasn't like Oregon, Washington, California. Weren't we all going to get on board?
Yes, but I thought it had to go to the feds.
I don't know.
So this says that Tuesday morning of this week, Oregonians sounded off on a very important bill that would get rid of daylight saving time and keep standard time year-round. So more than 200 people submitted written testimony. 81% supported the bill. So that's good.
That's good.
Because that's what we want, right? We want to just get rid of it.
Get out of here.
That way we don't have to change clocks. Otherwise, I don't really know the difference. But, it's just like...
Yeah,
You gotta wait. You get more sleep because it stays darker longer. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, fall. What? Spring forward, fall back.
So when we fall back, why do people hate that?
Hold on. So when we fall, well, it's to try to prevent it being dark for so long, right? And that's
Wasn't
the whole
it for
thing?
farming originally?
Yeah, originally it was for farming. It was
I
old.
don't know. Look, I just don't want to change the clocks. That's all I care.
That's all you care about.
Yeah,
Even though your
I'm
phone,
fine either
your
way.
phone changes for you.
Yeah, but I got the microwave I have to change, the oven. Dude, I can't. That's a lot.
I told you once for 3 years in my car, I just kept it, and then I realized that if you wait long enough, it goes back. Come around.
Well, yeah, every 6 months or so.
Yeah.
JPEA. JP. He is the president of Save Standard Time. Important cause. He says permanent daylight time was tried before and it failed.
Oh, it failed?
Did it?
So you're telling me that 1 hour of light or dark or a version of that is
what they say. They always point to like studies that like, yeah, that 1 hour leads to health problems and people are getting more accidents and there's all kinds of things. He says people need more morning light to wake up and feel good. And if you like daylight saving time, I would implore you to wake yourself up earlier and let the rest of us sleep for health. That's what he said. He's pissed.
I just love that we really think that makes all the difference in the world, that hour. And how long does that last for? Like really where you would notice it? 2 months? Go away.
I guess Washington, your people.
Yeah, what are my Washingtonians doing?
They took up a similar bill, but it died.
Oh. We're all for it. We want the daylight savings, huh?
Well, the people do. I don't know if the legislation will.
Well, then you're not going to get it passed without us.
No, I think
How weird would that be? Because I live like 5 minutes from the airport, but I live in Washington. How weird would that be if you couldn't do it? Like I leave my home at 11:55, and 5 minutes later I'm an hour different because I've crossed over the bridge.
Yeah, so this is not. We don't need Washington. You guys are idiots. You can't get your stuff together. So we've gone separate of you.
I think you do need Washington.
You don't. So in 2019, they passed Senate Bill 320. That Kate Brown, you remember her, Shutdown Brown?
I remember Shutdown Brown.
She signed it to keep Oregon on daylight saving time all year. The bill required Washington and California to sign off on it as well as Congress. That's what we were talking about?
Yeah.
This bill is different. This bill, Senate Bill 1548, does not require congressional approval. It says it was kind of disappointing. We were a little perplexed that it wasn't coming together. Senator Elizabeth Steiner, who opposed Senate Bill 320, is a sponsor of this bill. She says switching the clocks back and forth is not great for our health. There is a higher rate of car accidents, heart attacks, and strokes, among other bad medical outcomes. These typically last for a week or more. From a health perspective, the right thing to do is stick on
for God's sake
one time. But she opposed.
I find that very hard to believe. I need to see some data behind that.
No, you should just trust him.
I just trust him. But you're telling me if I could leave my house at 11 and then like all of a sudden it's noon? Just how would that work?
Well,
I mean,
I don't know. Just trust him, dude.
That seems like the dumbest thing.
Again, for me, it's all about just leave the clock alone, and I'll deal with the light or dark. I'll be fine.
I just feel like Oregon and Washington probably should get on the same page because there's a lot of people that go back and forth.
That's true, but Arizona, well, I guess no other state surrounding Arizona, and they don't really commute into Arizona. Does somebody commute from Nevada to Arizona?
I don't know how that works.
Deal with that?
And someone said, well, what if Southwest Washington would be on the Portland time? Well, at what point does that cross? Then I'm driving like all of a sudden Longview? Is that it's just stupid. That is so confusing. You know how long it would take me? I would be either really late or really early to everything for like 3 years. The show starts at 3. I'm just showing up every day at 4. I'm like, sorry, guys, sorry. What the hell to do? It's very confusing.
Hey, watch out if you have expired tags. Big story. Big expose on this.
Oh, boy.
Next on The Fan.
This is The Fan's Window into Sports. A view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation. Online at windownation.com.
Kind of weave this through. He's got a line if he can pull it off, but got to be careful. If this ricochets, it could go anywhere. Pretty darn special right there.
Now the gallery can cheer.
I got to be honest, it wasn't that special.
No.
Well, he had a little window there. See, window into sports.
Window
You get it?
Look at you poo-pooing.
It wasn't that great of a shot.
I'm just saying, that's a little surprised you're poo-pooing. You making that shot?
Yeah. I think I could hit that
After
shot.
that shank, maybe he was worried.
Maybe. The Fan's Window into Sports is brought to you by Window Nation. Get 50% off all window styles, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years right now at windownation.com.
What's your opinion?
It's thick, it's meaty.
The AAA Heating and Cooling poll question gives you a chance to vote on the hottest topics of the day, according to Isaac and Sue.
They were more excited than I was because I did it.
Brought to you by AAA Heating and Cooling, a family.
All right, welcome back. It's in the news for Feb 15, the day after Valentine's Day. Hope you all did wild and crazy stuff in the sack last night with your hots.
I thought so, and then my gal asked me to go to the store and buy her Theraflu. So that's,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, you're like, all right.
I'll tell you what, Theraflu is great.
Yeah. Yeah, the nighttime.
You should always have Theraflu on hand.
Nighttime meds, and it was over. Put herself to bed, and I was like, well, PlayStation 5 it is. By the way, Fred Meyer's now with a Costco-like checkout. They got the security guys that have to do the receipt thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Too much shoplifting going on?
I guess. Yeah, and I didn't realize it because I was doing the self-checkout, and I about got kerfuffled there.
At all of the Fred Meyers? Because I haven't seen it at my local Fred Meyer.
Not the one at mine.
Yeah. Wait, you don't shop?
Suk lives in I've been in there. I had to go in the other day for, what did I buy? Oh, I had to buy printer cartridges.
Oh.
Those are a
Look at
rip-off.
you getting out in the wild.
Oh, that's an Amazon purchase for me.
Such a rip-off.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she needed them right away. She was
away?
printing something. I'm like, all right, I think Freddie's has them. I'll go over there. $55 for one of those cartridges.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get you.
$210 or $110 for two.
Yikes.
The black and the color.
Yeah, you got to get the combined.
$110.
That's Amazon, baby.
Well, it's the same price on Amazon. I looked at it. What is the? It's
mine
such a
mine aren't that expensive on Amazon. I think I might buy the.
Well, you
the
have a
knockoff
crappier
ones.
printer.
Probably. Because I have to get the one where it's got like each color has its own cartridge. It's not one color, one black.
That's different.
It's a whole different thing.
I'm bougie.
But yeah, I was checking out last night and I was eating my whatchamacallit bar that I bought for myself for going to get Theraflu. And the guy was like, receipt? And I was like,
nope.
While I'm eating the whatchamacallit bar, and I thought there was going to be an issue, but the lady who was over there got my receipt from the self and she ran it over.
I never pick up the receipt.
I don't either.
Out of those little.
Well, now I have to because they do the Costco thing. They looked at my bag and then did the yellow line through it, and I was like, oh.
Do people keep receipts still?
I don't ever pick up my receipt.
The
But
others probably do, right?
Now at Freddy's, you have to do it because they want to see him when you leave.
I always see the guy with the big fat wallet and all the receipts in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What do you?
My dad's one of those.
What is
like
that?
his wallet is probably like 7 inches. I mean, it is a. I don't know
Why?
A
What is
veritable Costanza wallet.
Yeah, I don't know how he sits with that thing. Like, it's enormous. You gotta like throw your back out.
My girlfriend in college said her dad got a recommendation from his doctor that he needed to start putting his wallet in his front pocket because it was causing him back issues. It was so bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to a guy the other night, had one of those, and I was kind of making fun of him. And he said, "Wait till I throw it at your head, dude."
That
He's
is
like,
true.
"It's a weapon."
Hey, well, maybe like in a mass shooting sort of thing, you like put it over your heart, or like it's like your own little bulletproof vest. You
Right.
ain't getting through these credit
He
cards.
didn't believe in bearing arms, but he had a wallet.
Damn right.
If you've been driving around with expired license plate tags, there could be a ticket in your not too distant future.
Uh-oh.
This is in Oregon. The Portland Bureau of Transportation is looking for ways to make up some of the $32 million shortfall in their budget, which I don't really know how that happens. Maybe they should put me in charge of transportation. Bringing it full circle.
Yeah.
Start of the show, I said that Pete Buttigieg has the best job in government.
So you would be then in charge of
ticketing your ass.
Well, I was going to say Hail Marys. Don't forget about that. Special teams and now transportation and the DMV.
They're looking for ways to make up the money, and one of those is more enforcement about parking and license tags. Out of the 1 million vehicles registered in Portland, there are an estimated 460,000 that are eligible for renewal. Almost half.
Scofflaws out there.
Can you believe that?
I'll admit there's times where I've gone over by a little bit, but I would say usually within a month I'm getting the new tags.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here. How would you be caught just if you got pulled over and the cop was like,
the sticker on the back.
Well, I know, but how would you be caught if you don't get pulled over? Are you saying that like somebody comes along from the state and looks at each sticker and then tickets you?
If you let's say you were parked and the meter maid came by and they saw your expired tags, yeah, I'm guessing they could ding you. Like you can't be out with expired tags. So,
well, half the people in Portland are.
That's a lot, but honestly, I'm going to say that doesn't necessarily shock me. How many people probably get that whatever the letter and then are like, eh.
I know I do it.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
Like, I'll get to it.
Yeah, one of those times.
What are they going to do? Ticket me?
Well, and then for a while during COVID, they weren't doing that.
That's right.
So
there's no more grace period. If you're wondering, that's over.
Yeah, they're getting you.
So they want to collect millions of dollars in fines. They're coming after you.
Oh boy.
So get those tags updated, man.
That's right.
They're also raising the parking meter rates 20 cents an hour.
Sons of bitches.
How about that? Those little green,
Yeah, that's just like your parking kitty now, right?
Parking kitty.
Have that already gone up? I had a lunch meeting today. For an hour and a half, it was $3.20. I thought that was a bit expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
For an hour and a half, $3.20?
I think it was an hour and a half or maybe an hour and 15. Maybe an hour and 15. Yeah, it was $3.20. I thought it was a bit much. I was like, I didn't like
You
it.
should write a sternly worded letter.
Just saying. I don't know how much.
I never even look at it.
I don't know how much it's supposed to be, but let me tell you, I wasn't happy with the charge.
Anytime it's less than a sporting event, I'm thrilled. So $3.25 doesn't seem that bad.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
They're saying
Sporting events, baby. Those things. That's a whole other ball game.
Traumatize you.
Yeah.
they're saying it could be all approved by May. So it's not gone into effect yet. So it's about to be more, dude.
So it's not going to be $3.20. That thing would be like $3.60. This is ridiculous.
So if you have expired tags, make sure you
Get ready to pay for extra parking.
Vancouver Ford text line saying, I was just ticketed while parked downtown with expired tags. I had the new tags in the car, just not on the car.
Don't you got to put those in the window if you have them?
I do think if that's the case, you can appeal it and probably get that way.
They've issued them.
Yeah.
Right, because they would know that you have a non-expired. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we know. Get that taken care of, people. All 460,000 of you.
It's a lot of people.
That's crazy.
It's a
Isn't
lot of
that
milk.
wild?
A lot of milk.
I think that's all we have time for. February 15, 2024. In the news. ITN. Thank you. I was great.
You were.
I know. The Hot 5 at 5 is coming up next. I have football notes pertaining to the Seahawks. The Blazers host the Timberwolves again, but who the hell is playing? And we have an update on the Super Bowl parade shooting. It is 4:57 on The Fan. Hello? This thing on? Yeah, it's me. My name's Isaac, and I like to talk about windows. I like windows. I'm a fan of windows. We had a remodel at our house during COVID, and then we just did an ADU down at the house too, and I have Sports Bros, Rob and Sook. I'm Rob. Big Sook right over there.
What's up, dude?
Ryan Buckley is here. We are going to talk about NBA expansion coming up. We've yet to get to the UCLA situation and what's going on with Ryan Grubb as well. He's now with the Seahawks, if you didn't know.
Mm-hmm. My buddy couldn't be any happier. He's a big Washington guy, and I've never seen someone root for the demise of a program more than he's rooting for Alabama.
Yeah, because of Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, it's funny. It's when it's happening to someone else, it's hilarious. But boy, when it happens to you, the feelings get hurt real fast.
We reminisce a little bit this hour, and then in the club tonight, we have more. They turned around the airplane news.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
This time for maggots.
Let's see what you think about this one. I'm waiting for the situation where you think it's appropriate to
This
turn the
one's
plane
even worse than yesterday's. What are you going to do? Why are we going back?
What the f*** are you talking about, man?
Maggots. You can't fly with maggots.
Sure can.
Apparently.
And they did.
Apparently not.
We also have a self-driving car fiery death crash.
Oh.
And that's no good.
No. Well, just in general death, but especially fiery deaths. We've talked about it. I think the worst death you can have is indeed a fiery death. Watery death, way better than fiery death, in my opinion.
Both of them seem terrifying to me, but yeah, fire probably the
I'm
worst.
not terrified of the watery death.
I think there's a panicky part. You know, I imagine the water filling up and the anxiety from that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Just the realization, just the moment you know you're going to die.
Yeah.
Well, we've all either had the wind knocked out of us or been underwater too long and had that feeling of running out of air, and that's no one likes that.
Yeah, some fat kid on the raft above you at the pool.
You can't get up through the surface. Yeah,
you know, some fat kid on a unicorn raft and it about killed you. Yeah, I'll admit that's a little traumatizing. Still watery death way better than fiery.
I think you're probably
death.
right.
Well, fiery, aren't you dying of smoke inhalation first?
I've heard, and again, I've heard
and
that
then you burn to a crisp.
I think the fire takes longer usually.
Well,
you feel more.
I saw a thing once. It led me down a rabbit hole on the whole burning of the witches. Although they didn't burn the witches in Salem. Like no one burned.
What?
But yeah, they didn't burn.
They burned them at the stake.
Yeah.
Was that the whole thing?
That's
what are you talking about?
Like no one got burned in those Salem witch trials. Yeah. But they did burn people at the stake. And they said that if you were lucky, if someone did it right and they got the fire big enough. So they said it was like this misconstrued thing. If you really wanted to torture someone, you wouldn't get a big fire going. If the big fire goes enough and you take a big breath, the heat will go into your lungs and it gets you quick. They said the ones, if they really wanted to torture you, they did like a slow simmering sort of fire. So, and the bad part was, I guess the people that were doing this figured this out eventually and they stopped doing the big bonfire. They did more of a slow cooker, like a crock pot sort of thing. And that was...
Get those witches nice and tender.
Yeah. I guess they built one where they built like a metal... It was like a cage, and then they would just heat the metal cage. Like, that's the bad one.
Yeah, I do remember vaguely hearing about that period of time.
Yeah. They didn't have a whole lot to do back in the day, so they just came up with
They got creative with their torture methods,
Yeah,
that's
they
for
sure did.
Yeah. If you're ever in Scotland, there's a torture museum, and it's like $14. Look,
Where in Scotland?
I bet it's fascinating.
I think it was in Edinburgh.
It was?
And
We didn't go.
And I'll tell you what, it's the best $14 you're going to spend because it's fascinating, but
Gnarly.
you're going to see some stuff where you're like, whoa. Like, who on earth thought of that? And then you realize, like, that's not real. And then you read about it, you're like, yeah, that's real. And they did that.
All right, time now for the Hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions,
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
and hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victorico's.com. Number 5.
Now you got me botted up eating over there.
The Riv Genesis Invitational in LA marks the return of Tiger Woods to competitive golf. He shanked his second shot on 18, led to a bogey in a round of plus 172. Not great.
Well, he said the last couple holes, too, his back is going out on him, and it's,
he's a mess.
He's a mess. He's beat up.
The leader is Patrick Cantlay. He goes 7 under. He went out in 30 en route to a buttery little 64. 3 guys are 6 under. They are Jason Day, Luke List, and there was one of Cam Davis. Also, this just in, I have late-breaking sports news. Caitlin Clark has broken the all-time NCAA scoring record.
Why am I watching the Maple Leafs and Flyers play then?
Iowa playing Michigan tonight. She scored the first 8. She needed 8. She scored the first 8.
Is that not on? I don't see it on.
It should be on. I think it's on Peacock.
Oh, we don't have Peacock.
You don't have the cock?
Jerks. Hey-oh! No, I do not. All right, hockey it is.
Well, 4. She broke the record.
Congratulations. She's delightful. And women's basketball is getting a huge push right now.
Pretty fun to watch.
It's on all the time.
Yeah. And what else here? Hey, Rob Manfred, the Major League Baseball commissioner that everyone hates, he says this term will be his last. He will be stepping down in 2029.
Really?
Yeah.
How much is that? Does he make Goodell money? Is he up there?
Goodell money? No. But yes, I bet he makes good money. I think he's kind of a boob.
Yeah. He's not Gary Bettman inept, but
and he's 65 years old.
So
I wonder who will be the next commissioner of baseball.
I don't know. Probably someone who's the deputy commissioner. I mean, did anyone know who Rod Menford was before he got this?
Yeah, it's always the. Yeah, but I just
promote from within because wasn't Silver was Stern's right hand guy, right?
Yeah.
They just promote from within.
Yeah, that's not always the right move though.
No, but. It's usually what happens.
I think they need younger.
Number 3.
I don't know.
Hey, Rob only makes 25
million.
25 million annually. Yeah.
Little.
Goodell laughs at him.
What's Goodell? 50?
I think he might be like closer to 70.
God. Football notes.
63.9.
The Seahawks keep quarterback Geno Smith on the roster, thus fully guaranteeing the final $12.5 million left on his deal.
Well, good for Geno. 1, he's not bad. And 2, what else is Seattle doing? Like, where are they going to find someone better than Geno? I love the people that were like, oh, they need to move on from Geno. And do what?
The draft, probably?
Well, I mean, they don't have a super high pick. I mean, I guess and by the way, this doesn't mean that you can't draft someone.
They could trade him too.
Yeah. Look, you're not getting he's the best they can do. But yes, eventually Seattle, through the draft, needs to start thinking about the future. But you're not getting better as a starter next year than Geno Smith.
College note, Arizona football has hired former Syracuse coach Dino Babers as offensive coordinator.
Remember at one point, Dino was like the toast of the town. He was the hot name.
Yeah. Your Blazers host the Timberwolves again tonight.
Again.
This time, Minnesota could be without top option Anthony Edwards. He's questionable with knee soreness.
He was questionable last game.
The Blazers list Scoot probable. After winning 5 of 9 and scaring the daylights out of Buckley and Sukanik, Portland has settled in nicely to a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, baby.
I'm not going to lie. We were both... It was getting nervous.
They were playing too good ball.
They were playing too good ball, but then, we got some key injuries and some soreness, and, we've been getting a lot of questionables lately.
Do you worry about tonight, like pre-All-Star break? Like
I do. I worry about it a lot.
Good team like Minnesota mailing it in.
Well, and look, Minnesota kind of mailed it in last time. It's just that Ant had like 40 whatever and bailed them out. You know what, Rob? I'm nervous every time they take the floor. I'll tell you that right now.
Pistons Isaiah Stewart, a.k.a. Beef Stew, he's been arrested for punching Drew Eubanks in the parking lot of the arena before the game last night. The Suns say the attack was unprovoked. Detroit coach Monty Williams calls that irresponsible to say.
There's going to be film of it. It'll come out.
The league is reviewing the tape.
We're already getting like conflicting propaganda. Suns people now are like, Eubanks took it like a champ. He didn't even flinch.
Some people think it might have been related to Monty Williams, who used to coach the Suns.
Yeah, that's right.
They're saying that maybe people were talking S about Monty. I'm here for it. I need to see the tape, and I want transcripts of what happened.
Well, he got
Beef
arrested.
Stew wasn't having it.
Beef Stew wasn't having it. He got arrested and cited and then released.
Yeah.
And a quick update on the Super Bowl parade shooting. What we know now, police in Kansas City are saying that the shooting was a dispute between several individuals. 2 of the 3 people detained are juveniles. Half of the 23 victims are under the age of 16. And the one person who died, we now know, is a 43-year-old radio host named Lisa Lopez Galvin.
Yeah, they released one of the three suspects has been released. They determined through footage and interviews that he didn't have anything to do with it. He was there and affiliated with one of them, but he didn't partake. They have the two, and the creepy part, again, I guess the whole thing is creepy, but they're both underage. So they're waiting for the juvenile correctional people to get involved.
That video where the bros tackle the gunman,
he looks
really 12. Dude.
I heard an account from one of the guys that tackled him and basically said that there were some older adults handling the guns previously and told those, like, basically pawned him off on those kids who were, working with him or part of the same group or whatever. But it sounded like there might be some older people involved as well.
Oh, so you're saying that the kids running with the guns
might have been doing it to get away for someone higher up that they were with.
Interesting.
I don't know. But yeah, there's just reports that it was just a conflict between two groups of people and shots rang out.
All right. Victor Rico's Mexican food brings you the hot 5 at 5, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victorricos.com. Coming soon, NBA expansion. Next on The Fan.
Broadway and shots. Can you imagine
mayhem?
The absolute utter chaos. And like you hear different stories, and no one knows. There was one kid that he got his face all beat up. He jumped over the barricade, and he said he's the one that, like, Andy Reid, I guess. Andy Reid like hugged the kid, and they were telling everyone to go into Union Station because no one knew anything at that point. It's just there was 800 police officers there, and in those moments you don't know who's what. You have no idea.
Yeah, they're not wearing the people who were involved, who are bad guys, good guys. They're not wearing signs or things that indicate this person's okay. This person
isn't. And that's
isn't.
the other one. You hear two people are like, "Well, if other people had guns." So you have a crowd of 1 million people, and now you just have people with guns, and you don't know who's what.
Randomly trying to identify who the bad people are in the moment. That's not great.
By the way, I would like to point out there were 800 good guys with guns, and still 22 people got shot. Just say. And by the way, they weren't even trying to shoot people. They were trying to shoot each other, and 22 people got caught in the crossfire. But
there's also a bunch of plainclothes, undercover
Yeah.
agents and stuff in there too. So maybe that was some of it, but it's just interesting. This Trey Smith guy said that he was going into like some back of a restaurant type cooler area just to freaking hide. And he saw a really inconsolable kid who was separated from his parents, and he soothed him with the
belt.
He had the WWE belt, and he gave it to him and sat with him.
Oh, and there's all kinds of stories, again, parents being separated from kids, and they were still, I think now everything's fine, but they were setting up like locations that you could go to afterwards to find your missing children. Because again, it is absolute freaking chaos. And I was listening today to the NFL network, and there are some people that are saying that they're already having discussions in the NFL that this may end championship parades.
I saw someone say yesterday, we'll ban Super Bowls and parades before we ban guns.
There's already talk about maybe amongst it, maybe putting it in stadiums where they can have metal detectors and control it.
And then people either buy tickets or it's first come, first in. Like
it's really hard when you're talking about that many people showing up. I don't know how you
can't.
Like, how do you police? Like, maybe it should be. I don't know what I think about that
there
yet.
was 800 cops.
I know, but how do you? But there's no metal detector. Like, you can't send everyone through a metal detector.
The whole reason you have the parade is so you can have 1 million plus people. But if you have 1 million plus people, then you can't keep it safe.
Just say if we are that pathetic, and apparently we are, if we are that effing pathetic as a society in a country that we now have to ban parades. So we can't have the Boston Marathon. You can't have the Macy's parade. We can't do the Rose Parade. We can't have championship parades. That's where we're at. I'm so effing tired of hearing, well, we soft targets. We got to harden everything. So now we're just going to be in a lockdown where we can't have groups of people gathered because, God forbid, we get groups of people together because we're all going to get effing shot. It's just a freaking joke.
Well,
it's
the mayor of Kansas City said that he was emphatic. Like, we're not we're going to keep going. We're going to keep having these events. This doesn't define us. We'll do it again. We just got to be on point with security. You got to adapt. I don't know how you do that to keep everyone safe in a situation like that. I mean, that's just that. I would think the parade with 500,000 or 1 million people is like one thing. It's just something we can't really fully protect. You just can't.
You can't.
And so
again,
do you just keep going and say, well, this is what we do. We can't succumb to, or do you get smart and say, maybe this isn't something that we should do anymore? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't know how I feel about it. All I know is that it bothers me that people are minimizing this tragedy.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the mass shooting that scares us all, right? Like the guy in Vegas or whatever. It was people who had an issue. Maybe it was gang related. Maybe it was just a bunch of youngs. I think it's interesting that would we say 23 victims, 16 of them were underage?
Yeah.
So does that mean that where the shooting took place, and you can hear the gunshots, it's just video, so you kind of get a sense for how many rounds were fired, happened in basically a 10-second span, right? So does that lead us to believe that that was a group of kids that were all fighting, right?
Well, no, because some of these
because they said 5 years old for some.
Yeah, my guess is this was probably an area that was a little bit further away. Maybe there was just a bunch of families.
It was right there. It was right there, though. It was right just to the left of the stage. They said west of Union.
It did seem like there was a large portion of kids that were.
But it's just weird.
But I don't know.
It's weird that how we do this, like with the mass shootings and the school shootings, we are horrified, and just some of us don't even want to talk about it because we're so tired of hearing all the rhetoric, right?
Yep.
But then when it's gang violence or people fighting and shooting each other or road rage or something, we're like, nah, that's their own problem. It's you know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas some innocent woman died.
Yes.
She was just at the parade with her kids and she's dead.
And this is gonna be minimalized because of the one person. And we see this all the time. It's like we take it as seriously as the body count is. But even when it's high body,
it can't get any worse than Sandy Hook.
No, and that's where I said this is when I officially just I quit and I gave up because little kids, kindergartners. So I said it yesterday, and I'm being in some way I was kind of being like a wise ass because I was so pissed. But maybe it's true. Maybe someone just important enough has to get shot. That's because what we've learned is that school kids aren't important enough, and music festival goers aren't important enough, and a nightclub isn't important enough,
and people at their churches
and people at churches aren't important enough. So I don't know. Does Congress, if that happens, political leaders, I don't know. If Patrick Mahomes got shot, does that do it? If an NFL team gets shot up, if a Major League Baseball team gets shot up, does that do it? Because so far, nothing, as bad as all these things are, nothing has moved the needle. Not even an inch. Not 1 inch. So it was just after Sandy Hook when I said, if that happened and nothing came from it, I don't know what will. And I honestly don't know if anything will, which is why I said yesterday, this is just who we are.
Yeah, and that gun.
This is what we're about.
The gun that the kid had, that was not something you just tuck into your waistband.
No.
I mean, it like to this guy's point, the short duration and the bursts of ammo, they're fully automatic. They seem like fully automatic weapons. Did you hear the gunshot? I mean,
they're at least. I mean, semi-automatic rifles can be fired real quick, and we know that there were some handguns involved too. And we'll get more details that come out, but it's another one of these things you're like, for God's sakes, we can't have championship parades anymore. What happened to the days when we have a championship parade and the worst thing that was going to happen is a couch was going to get lit on fire?
Do you think Travis Kelce remembers anything from yesterday?
Probably not.
He was housed.
That was a whole other.
If you thought his Viva Las Vegas was bad after the Super Bowl, my gosh, the Garth Brooks he attempted was even worse.
Did you see Willie Gay laying in the street?
Yeah.
So Willie Gay, the linebacker for the Chiefs, he took off his shirt, he took off his shoes, and he had some giant chain on and like a bottle of Hennessy, and he was running around the streets like away from seemingly everyone, just running down the streets. And then at some point he just laid down in the street.
There's this overhead shot of it. It looks like abstract art. It's wonderful.
Yeah. He just laid down. He's like, got a little tired, and he's like, I'm gonna lay down right here. The Chiefs had a great time, and everyone was having a great time right up until the point where 22 people got shot, and some poor woman who was a radio DJ, died.
All right, let's get back on track here. We've got NBA expansion talk, the NBA soon in Vegas. And what was UCLA to do when Chip Kelly left them? I mean, not a lot of options there at this stage of the game. So we'll get to those items coming up here. It is 5:30. Here's Buck.
shot to break the record.
How far was it?
Dude, it is legit. Like 6 feet past the half court line, the edge of the big Iowa logo.
And she's like in rhythm going almost full speed.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, she does not stop. It's a really weird kind of form. Like she's just like leaning forward.
She's kind of floating when she shoots it almost. Yeah.
And like nothing but net. I mean, it's insane. Like to break the record, you know, I don't know if she shoots like that on a regular basis, but that's borderline silly for the record-breaking shot. That's awesome.
They're beating Michigan right now, 46-38.
Yeah.
She has 26.
Turns out she's good, but she's not the Bayou Barbie.
9 of 14 already.
Ring to prove it. Boom.
The Bayou Barbie, that's the LSU girl?
Yeah, is it Angel Reese or whatever? Remember there was that big controversy.
Is she in the WNBA now?
No, she's back at LSU.
Still...
She had a weird thing this year where she was like, she left the team and some people were saying she was suspended or something.
Is she back?
Yeah, she's back.
Yeah, there was some drama surrounding her in that program, though.
I don't know exactly what was happening, but her coach is a giant red ass.
She was probably out getting the jab.
She's getting paid. I think she might be the #1 NIL person in college sports. She got paid a lot of money. And Caitlin Clark's getting some coin too, and that's a badass shot. And women's basketball has certainly been having their moment the last couple of years, and there's like legitimate stars that are being built in that game. I mean, Sabrina's going to shoot with Steph at the All-Star game, and I guess her shoe is absolutely killing it at Nike. There's a bidding war right now for Caitlin Clark. I think Angel Reese already became the face of Reebok. Reebok's trying to rebuild their brand on her back. I mean,
so is Clark going to be the #1 pick?
I think so. I think she's like, I'm not going to say that I'm like super like up on all my NBA news, but I've heard enough where people think that she isn't going to be a college wonder. She'll get to the WNBA and be a star.
Do we need a world where Sabrina and Clark play on the same team? I think we do.
I'm reading that the only other person that could maybe challenge is Stanford center Cameron Brink.
Oh, okay. So she'll go 1 or 2 because Sabrina didn't.
Sounds like she's 1.
Sabrina didn't go 1, did she?
I don't think so.
I don't think she went 1. And she took a little bit. She didn't come in and like light the league on.
Like her first 6 or 8 games were good, but then she kind of went into a swoon where she was on the rocks there for a little bit, but she's turned it around.
She's turned around.
Are you guys betting on the big Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionescu
haven't seen the line yet.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
There's probably a line on it, don't you think?
Probably.
Well, and I think she is going to shoot with the smaller ball,
but she is shooting from the NBA
shooting
distance.
From the NBA distance, and she says it's not a big deal because I mean she shoots deep threes. So she says that's not going to be an issue. And I think at last year's WNBA All-Star game, she broke from the shorter line and with the smaller ball, but she broke the 3-point contest record,
men's or women's, by that format. Yeah, it's the best. She had the best 3-point contest anyone's ever had.
She can beat him. I mean,
so she uses the women's ball, he uses men's ball, but they shoot from the same
correct
line.
Yeah,
he's not shooting from half court.
No. Unfortunately, like I want Sabrina to win. I think it'd be awesome. I'm a big fan, but I'm gonna pull for Steph because I don't want to hear. Because you know it's going to happen. If she wins, then it's going to be this, well, she could play in the NBA and she beats. Why can't women play in the NBA? They beat. It's just going to be nauseating. So from that standpoint, I wish Sabrina would win, but from that standpoint of I can't handle that narrative for the next month. I need Steph to win.
Well, you can always ignore those narratives.
I know it drives. It bores a hole.
You don't have to.
It bores a hole right through my.
Well, you don't have to let it. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know how.
You love it.
It drives me crazy.
You probably have a burner where you're lighting people up on social media about it.
Nope.
All night long. Drinking whiskey at your computer with no pants on.
He's just got one little lamp on.
One little lamp, just being a troll.
Feverishly tweeting. No.
His Twitter fingers can't move fast enough.
Yeah, my hands don't move very fast, no.
Oh, hey, Adam Silver said Vegas on their list for expansion.
Yeah.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
Haven't they already basically told LeBron he can have it?
Everyone wants a piece of Vegas.
YouTube stream comments telling us, by the way, Steph is a -220 favorite, Sabrina +160 if you like her.
Boy, I think I might place a C note on Sabrina.
Plus money.
She can win that.
Yeah. Why couldn't she?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same format that she played last year, and yeah, it's a little bit longer, but again, she said that won't be an issue. She shoots from there all the time.
They should put Caitlin Clark in that.
Well, she's in college, so
then Duop Reith.
That would be problematic. Now we're talking.
Here we go.
Yeah, so it's about that time for expansion in the NBA. That probably means, because the last one was what, Bobcats or something? Way back in the day, 2003 maybe?
Was that the...
Yeah, I think that's the last one.
Yeah, and then the Hornets, like, right, we got to... Because they're now the
Hornets were
the Hornets, and now they're back to being the Hornets, but they were
the Bobcats were the expansion. But that's it's been 20 years. That's about the right time. And by the way,
do we really need more crappy NBA teams?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Is like we do not need more mediocrity in the NBA.
No.
If anything, we need to we need to minimize the number of teams. Contraction.
At the same time, though, the price is going to be so high. These leagues, they're not going to turn this money down. I was reading an article the other day. They were talking about all the rich people in rich people land, Sports franchise investment is the biggest thing going in rich people land. And they are lining up to own sports franchises. And these leagues can charge them a mint to jump in.
Yep.
And you better believe that they will. They're not turning that money down.
Nope. It gets split amongst all the owners. And
yep. They're talking $4 or $5 billion just to get in.
Good gravy.
And that would be Vegas. And then maybe, the Sonics return.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I mean, those are the two front runners.
Yeah.
Because, the old guy, Chris Hansen, is out. He's the guy that tried to move the Kings up, but that failed. So the owner of the Kraken, Samantha Holloway, who is the daughter of a Celtics minority owner, I don't know his name, she owns the Kraken. She's probably going to be the owner of the Seattle team, and so she could get you could get the Sonics and a team in Vegas, within the next I don't know 4 years, 5 years.
Well, it'd be cool to see a team in back in Seattle and in Vegas, but God, that is the last thing we need is more watered down NBA. Like there are so many bad teams.
Hey, money, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good for I always said that if you took, unfortunately, Portland's one of those, but just for the sake of argument, right? If you took the bottom three, so San Antonio, Portland, Memphis, and by the way, this is just arbitrary this year, and then you took Detroit, Washington, and Charlotte, and you took those players that are on that team, so you'd have, I don't know, you'd get like one of the Ball brothers, and you'd get Cunningham, and you got Wemby, and you got Scoot, and you got Shaden, Ja would be in that, and you took that and you divvied those guys up and you put them on existing teams. How much better is the NBA? How much better if you took those players and you threw them on the other teams? And now we're just going to do it where we're watering it down even more.
We've been saying this for years.
I know.
I mean, that league, there's a lot of ways to make it instantly better, but they're never going to do any of them because it hurts their bottom line.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yep.
All right. UCLA hires Deshaun Foster.
And everyone collectively goes, meh.
But did they really even have a choice? Next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
All right, gents, did you realize Oregon baseball begins this weekend?
Yes.
Well, it does. They play at the home of the reigning world champions, Texas Rangers. They're at Globe Life Park for the Shriners Children's Showdown. They play against Oklahoma, Baylor, and Texas Tech 3 days in a row.
Well, college baseball.
Cool.
Not ranked, though, the Duckies, right?
Nope, not yet.
Just outside of the top 20.
Although they did have a nice postseason run last
year.
Do
they have cool uniforms?
I'm
like
sure
their
they do.
Football team?
I think that probably goes without saying.
Really? Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
It's The Fan on demand.
They're kind of fun to play with, aren't they?
Now, Fan Podcasts
the godparent can have, but a lot of times that's not the case. It's a ceremonial thing. It lets you know that you're close and you think a lot of someone, and so you're like, yeah, be my kid's goddaughter. It's like some of my friends' kids call me uncle.
It's just like that.
It's like that.
All right.
I'm Uncle Jay to a couple of my friends' kids. And
Willie Mays is Barry Bond's godfather.
Yeah. You were close.
What do the Brinks do for a living? Cameron's parents, do we know?
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you. She was born in Princeton, New Jersey, though, to Greg and Michelle Brink.
It's probably into their lives.
Yeah, they're just close family with Steph Curry's mother.
I love her.
So there you go.
Sonia.
There you go.
They were roommates at Virginia Tech.
Who? Oh, the moms?
Yeah, so that I guess it goes all the way back. And then the dad played with Curry's father on the basketball team there. So they go way back.
College days.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that.
Oh, and her parents, Nike.
What do you mean, Nike?
They
work for
They
them.
wear Nike shoes?
Yes. So they lived in Amsterdam for 3 years because of her parents' job at Nike and returned to the United States when she was in the sixth grade. So
that's why she's from Beaverton.
Beaverton. Makes sense.
All right, so UCLA hires Deshaun Foster as their new football coach. We have yet to talk much about this because, well, the Super Bowl and shootings and things this week. But did they really have any choice? You know?
Not really.
What do you, that late in the cycle, your coach leaves you high and dry. What the hell do you do? Can you yank a coach from another school?
I mean, you can. I mean, it happens. The problem is that UCLA, I think, is not. I think this job kind of stinks at this point.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, it's like it's not like this is Oregon looking for a coach in February. It's UCLA.
Yeah, it's. I just think they are a little.
But I guess you always have coaches that were looking to.
Yeah.
That are looking to jump up, but
I think this. Well, if you've seen some of we just had another one. The Georgia State coach left to be the tight end coach of South Carolina. I think.
I know.
So they're saying that this is going to become a trend, and that those smaller schools just aren't the jumping off jobs that people. That's not where people are looking to necessarily go hire these next batch of coaches.
I wonder if coaches, on one hand, you could make the case that coaches will stay put more now. Because it's like you crater a program, or a program is cratered when you take it over.
Yep.
Because everybody transfers out, or you know what I mean? Like maybe that will help coaches, bounce around less.
It's possible.
Or this is going to go the other way, and coaches are just going to be bouncing around all over the place now because there's really no building. It's just. I'm going to take over. It's going to be barren wasteland, and I'm going to build it up in a year or two. And if not, I'm out and going to the next one.
Pretty much.
So which is it?
I can see it going both ways. I think that it's going to continue to just be Thunderdome. Unless there's some guardrails, and with all the lawsuits, I don't know where these guardrails are coming from. I just think that the sport has become transient. I think it's just what it is. I think coaches are going to leave when coaches want to leave, and players are going to do the same. And you don't necessarily have to build a program. I think with the transfer portal, I just think this is the nature of college football right now. And maybe it changes down the road, but I don't see where suddenly this comes to a halt over the next 2 to 3 years.
So bouncing around.
More bouncing around.
Just because
it's just the nature of it. Like if you're UCLA, like you said, like your coach leaves, what? The only reason Deshaun Foster, I guess, is a popular guy inside the locker room. It's an attempt, obviously, to try to keep your roster together as much as humanly possible. And he's going to be viewed as a CEO type. And I'm not sure how attractive that UCLA job really is. I'm just not. But, the idea that if they didn't get Deshaun Foster, then they would have gone out and gotten someone else. And that cycle just keeps perpetuating itself. It doesn't take that many to kind of keep this thing going. And there's turnover every single year. So unless colleges stop firing coaches, I don't see whatever slows this down. So as long as coaches get fired, and they are going to keep getting fired, there's always going to be someone jumping to the next job, and that opens up that next one. And they just, and now we've got the terrible one of coaches even from Power 5, like the BC guy leaving to take NFL jobs. And we have Chip going to a coordinator job at another Power 5 school. I think that for the foreseeable future, until some rules get put in place, there's like a breakaway and there's like a new college football czar commissioner. I think this is what we're dealing with.
Check this out. Go back to the year of our Lord 2012. Do you remember 2012, Jace?
I do.
What was that?
Giants won the World Series
12 years ago. The Ducks go 12-1. They hammer Kansas State in the Fiesta Bowl. You and I are there.
Mm-hmm. I was also there, not with you, but I was there.
2 years prior, Kelly got him to the doorstep of a title, right?
Yep.
Never thought that could happen in Eugene. Duck fans riding high. It's the era of offense and
the blur,
points and speed, and the best coach in college football. If I sat you down, so you and I are watching that K-State game. We were in a suite, weren't we? Because of the Wilcox.
Mm-hmm.
You and I were up there, and I
we
sat
were
you
up there
down.
with Wilcox.
I said, Suk, have a seat right there. Go ahead, have a seat right there. And you sit down with your beer, and I say, dude, in 12 years, Chip Kelly, he's going to be an offensive coordinator in college football. And oh, by the way, the Pac-12 will not exist. And you will be hosting Ohio State, where Chip Kelly is the OC, as part of your Big Ten schedule.
Zero chance.
I told you all three of those things. You'd be like, Rob, dude.
That's so stupid.
You're such an idiot.
Yes.
All three are true. A friendly reminder, none of this is predictable.
No.
Think about that. Think about how we viewed Chip Kelly. He was the guy in college football.
Changing the face of college football.
He now stepped down from a Power 5 head coaching job to be an OC. The Pac-12 doesn't even exist. And Oregon is just as big a favorite as Ohio State to win the whole damn thing.
Yep. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy to think about. And so,
come on, man.
Where it goes from here, and you're right, like, it's crazy to think about that. I mean, the fact that the Pac-12 is dead. I mean, that alone.
It's gone.
That alone.
Well, not yet, but will be.
It's essentially gone.
Yes. If I told you just that fact.
Yeah, I would have. That may have
Which
been.
is more unbelievable. Chip Kelly's career is actually going to fizzle and he's going to just be an OC, but in 12 years. Would you you'd be like, dude, no way. This guy's unbelievable.
I'd believe that. I'd believe that before I believe that the Pac-12 dies. I mean, at the time we were talking about the Pac-12 eating the Big 12, the Pac-12 like getting Texas and like.
What if I then told you? But what about Oregon to the Big 10? God. Where do you throw that in there?
That makes no sense whatsoever. Or how about this? Cal and Stanford to the ACC, because that's a thing. That's a real thing. I mean, it's so bizarre, and yet all of that's happened, like you said, over the last 10 to 12 years. The next 10 to 12 years, the seismic shifts are going to be way worse than that, because what's coming down the road here with all the different lawsuits and the NCAA, basically the NCAA is about ready to die. If this one happens in Virginia and Tennessee, if they win that case, there is no more NIL regulation. None. You can't enforce anything. At that point, it is 100% pay for play. You don't have to pretend anymore. It's just, it's on. We already have a college basketball team that's unionized. Was that Colgate, I think, that unionized? And then that's going through appeal, but that's going to come. Eventually, we're just, over the next 10 years, this will become professional athletics. And we know it's going to break away. So as weird as that last 10 year, that shift we're talking about, the one that's coming probably over the next 5 years is going to make that seem like small potatoes. It's going to be an entirely different animal. And what that looks like, anybody want to try to predict what that looks like in 5 years?
You can't. We just went through an exercise where you can't just sit back and watch. You have no idea what's going to happen.
And hope. I was talking.
It'll be fine. The sport will be fine.
It'll certainly.
It's just going to be different.
It'll be different.
And
there are going to be programs like UCLA that just kind of get chewed up and spit out. At least they ended up at the Big Ten.
It's already different. The fact that every top team is plugging in a new top player every year. It's like the changes are already here.
Yeah. I haven't seen though. I haven't seen a ton of UCLA guys diving into the portal. At least
No.
I haven't seen that. Because that's the fear, is anytime your coach leaves this late, one, it screws you over for hiring the next guy, but, it leaves your roster open to get peeled off.
Well, I wonder if that was one of the things that made them kind of feel like they had to go with Foster's, because apparently, according to reports, the players really like him.
Yeah, I just don't know what other choice they had. to hire a running backs coach with no other experience other than being a running backs coach, and he's from UCLA. I think that I'm not saying that's necessarily like a.
Hey, he was gonna be the Raiders running backs coach this year. So
look, you can say that's a desperate move, and it really is, and it's a desperate move from a program that has no sense of itself from top to bottom.
I actually think it could be a good move considering the circumstances.
Yes, I'll buy that.
They just did not have.
If he's a charismatic guy that can hold that together and hire some coordinators. But
I like the route that they went considering what, how under the gun they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that I see what they were thinking there, but it's not like they had a ton of options.
No.
But,
and now,
and this guy was on the Vancouver Ford text lines, right? A lot of UCLA fans are pissed that Chip Kelly took so long to leave, because they thought they could have had Jed Fish before he went to Washington.
They weren't getting Jed Fish from,
or they could have had Jonathan Smith if you go all the way back.
Maybe, but I think in a battle between UW and UCLA, I don't think they're winning that battle. And again, we all know that this comes down. We've heard this time and time again that it's about NIL, and UCLA is falling behind. Get your NIL together, because if you don't, you're not competing. And UCLA has always had a hard time rallying the support.
All right. Up next, what fell out of the overhead bin?
Oh, no.
6 o'clock on the Fan.
Hey, it's Zook for A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Before getting a new train system installed, I was guilty of getting one quick fix after another. Then I found a team that educated me on how to keep my house comfortable, and they showed me the difference between a cheap stopgap and an affordable long-term solution. So don't get caught in the cycle of spending as little as possible again and again and again. Solve your HVAC issues for the long haul. Call A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, or visit aeheatingandcooling.com, your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. CCB number 203004.
Winter is here. If your vehicle is in an accident, Lafe's Auto Collision Centers is ready to help. One call does it all. Lafe's can pick up your vehicle anywhere in the Northwest, provide a loaner, handle your collision claim, repair it to pre-loss industry standards with factory parts, bill direct, and when we're done, drop it back off. All around your schedule. Let Lafe's take the hassle out of your accident. You've got more important things to do. Loaners, deductible assistance, pickup and delivery. Lafe's. We work for you.
Want to be like Bezos, Gates, or Oprah? Or how about a Wall Street hedge fund titan? Well, maybe you can't be them, but you can finally invest like them by accessing an asset that's outpaced the S&P 500 for the last 27 years by 136%. Blue chip contemporary art. By 2026, Citi predicts the art market will grow by $1 trillion. But how do you get into art investing without having a hedge fund of your own? Easy. With Masterworks. Masterworks buys multi-million-dollar artworks, breaks them into shares, and allows investors to add those shares to their portfolios. They offer art from icons like Basquiat, Banksy, and Picasso, so you can diversify your portfolio beyond just stocks and bonds. Schedule a call with Masterworks advisors today at masterworks.com/ice. That's masterworks.com/ice. This advertisement relates to the provision of advisory services by Masterworks Advisors LLC and is not intended to offer or solicit investment in any securities. Masterworks Advisors is affiliated with Masterworks.
Fred Meyer always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower than low prices. And when you download the Fred Meyer app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. Plus, you
Thursday, right?
You are
Is
correct.
it Thursday?
Sir. It is Thursday.
It's Thursday. It's Rop and Souk. This is the club hour of our show, where we basically goof off, talk about nothing.
Speak for yourself. I have important things to discuss.
We've been
Like
goofing
what?
off since 3 today. International ambassadorships, nepotism. There's been a whole lot going on.
Yeah, it's that time of year. I like these shows.
Yeah, the wheel of grab ass. So take us back to the COVID. Like everyone always asks, like, was COVID hard, like to do shows? And we're like, no, not
Just
really.
the opposite.
We had so much fun.
We had been preparing for like 20 years for COVID.
COVID was great.
We're ready to go.
I loved COVID.
I'm just saying.
Hey, yeah, beautiful hair.
COVID.
COVID.
Still lingering around now. No
Where
one
have
takes
you
it,
been?
No one takes it seriously, but
Yeah,
still there.
I read an article on COVID the other day. They were saying, well, you know, the CDC wants you to get out and enjoy your life even if you have COVID.
What? Where was that?
Well, it was like, yeah, exactly. Well, a lot of people were dying back when we didn't know what was up, you know? So there's, it's a little different now. But at the same time, you know, they're finally telling people, okay, if you get COVID, you don't have to like quarantine for 3 weeks.
Yeah, there's no.
Just put on a mask. If you don't have a fever, get out there.
Yeah.
Cough all over your friends.
Get out there and roll around. Can't tell you, like, it just, you hear it all the time now. You're talking to someone, you're like, hey, man, what's up with you? Nothing. I'm like, I got COVID. You're like, oh, crap. They're like, whatever. Like, fine.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's no different than, oh, I got the flu.
Yeah.
Or I've, you know, strep or something.
Except now there's like a bunch of different treatments for it. And I don't know if people are still doing, like, are we still doing boosters? Is that a thing? Like,
jab?
Right, they're still doing boosters because that's the Kelsey commercial,
I mean,
right?
he's still hawking it, so we must still be doing it.
Yeah, I think they're still doing, it's like an annual thing, right? You go
I haven't gotten one since, for a long time. I don't know how many of them there are. I've lost count.
I think the olds are probably still getting them, just because.
Are you still getting them over there, Buckley?
No, I got the first round, and I don't think I've had one since.
Yeah.
I've noticed lately, Pfizer had the Super Bowl commercial because they're trying to change their the PR because everyone was
Pfizer?
Like, yeah, Pfizer was doing like they did
Why?
the salute to science. Well, because half the country thinks Pfizer's trying to put 5G in them and whatnot.
Right.
So they had like the salute to science. They're like, yeah, we're Pfizer.
That's rational.
Exactly. I feel like though there's been a lot of like new vaccines popping up. Like, I'm watching TV and there's always like some sort. Now I've got a vaccine, like they're doing a chickenpox one, the shingles one.
We've already had a chickenpox.
Yeah, I thought we already had
that.
Yeah, they're out there though, but they're promoting
new
them
ones?
now. Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
shingles is the one, and then what's the other one? Like, is it HPV?
I think there is one for that as well.
I just noticed lately it's a lot of like, hey, I need to get more vaccines. Like, I'm like, oh, which I'm not going to, but just lately there's been a lot of vaccines on the old TV. Robert Kennedy told me, don't do it. Because I'll grow like, I don't know, like a third arm or
I
something.
didn't really catch the whole thing with him and his Super Bowl ad.
I think it was just...
Why was that so controversial? I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, he's running as an independent, so a lot of people think that he'll tilt the election one way or another, even though he has no chance to win. And
Well, I thought he had to come out and apologize for his ad, though, right?
Did he?
I thought he did. I thought I read that. Maybe I read wrong.
Some people
I just don't pay enough attention.
Some people love that dude, and other people think he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I
think the whole ad wasn't even necessarily like it was an RFK ad, but it was like independent. We need more than these two choices, which is...
Well, I thought he was like invoking JFK, and that pissed off the family because they all hate him.
Oh, that may be.
And they love JFK.
That may be.
So like, don't you dare.
Well, I think he invoked his father and
I don't even know who's his father. Which one was his dad?
His father is Robert.
And he was the old drunk guy?
No, Roberts was John's brother who also got murdered.
Oh, who was the old drunk guy?
That's Ted.
Ted!
He's the Lion of Congress.
Now there's a Kennedy.
Even though he killed that lady in, the watery
Is he
crash.
dead?
Yeah, Ted died.
Oh.
Yeah. Ted's dead. Robert was Bobby. Robert F. Kennedy.
He died first, right?
No. John died, and then shortly thereafter, his brother, Robert Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, was running for president, and he was shot in the hotel.
Which one went down with in Martha's Vineyard? That was one of their kids, right?
It went down. Oh, that's John F. Kennedy Jr.
Jr. He died.
He died. He died in a plane crash.
Yeah, at Martha's Vineyard, right? Didn't he? A small plane?
I thought it was off the coast of New York.
Well, I think that's
Is that Martha's?
technically. I mean, Martha's Vineyard's up north, but
Yeah, well,
Same thing.
John F. Kennedy Jr. died in the plane crash. Bobby Kennedy died in the hotel. John Kennedy obviously died in Dallas, and now RFK is.
And he's okay. So all right.
So he's Bobby's kid.
Bobby's kid, and then there's a couple of others. There's another redhead one out there. Who's that? What's his deal?
That I don't know. And then Ted Kennedy was just a drunk in Congress forever.
Finger.
And he's the one that crashed while drunk, allegedly, left the poor lady to drown and die, and then left, and somehow he got away with it because he's a Kennedy.
Sounds like
Succession.
Succession.
Well, that's where they pulled it from.
Yeah.
I mean, that is 100% like. I mean, they pulled from real life things, but it is crazy to think that he did that and like nothing happened to him.
Do you think he knows Ray Lewis?
Yikes.
What?
I don't know. I'm guessing maybe, you know.
Was that offensive to you?
It's just a little, like, whoops.
A little over the top for you? For Big Sook, old zany Big Sook?
Hey, Ray Lewis. He's a fine, upstanding man of the Lord, except when he's stabbing people.
Let's talk about maggots.
Now there's
no.
Now there's a transition.
You piece of garbage!
Did you see these? Well, you did see this. You told me about it. Or you guys are tweeting about it or something on your
People
Twitter
tweeted
account?
it at us.
So, I mean, I had texted you earlier in the day, Isaac, and you said you already saw it.
Yeah.
But then you not being on Twitter, sometimes listeners...
Well, I'm on Twitter.
Well, okay, you not having an account to tag.
No, I do.
Oh.
My account's back.
Oh. Well, this
yeah.
is new news too.
Yeah.
Well, here's what happened. So I think Twitter's stupid and I hate scrolling through it, but for the show, it's very helpful.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I did was I was just using the fan account, but then I looked at, there was like an expiration date on my account. I thought I deleted it, but I didn't. I just turned it off.
That happens.
And so then it sent me a notification saying,
welcome back.
no, they were saying if you want your account back, you need to do it by this date. And so then I was like, well, maybe I'll just slide back into the social media world and nobody will know and they'll just.
Except you just announced it now.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I don't care. It's not like I read it, but it is there.
Yeah.
And I haven't tweeted since like 2022 or something, maybe 2021.
It's been a while.
I'm going to put out a tweet today, I think.
I'm back, bitches.
But some listener tagged both Sook and I and said, hey, you guys got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if you delete your account, they don't delete it. It's like a grace period of like a year or something.
They do that with everything. Any of those accounts, there's like a recovery email, and if you want it back.
And they got me because now I'm like, well, all right, fine. I guess I'll put it back out there.
Welcome back.
So I'm back. And by the way, my name has changed to Isaac E. Roppenheimer.
Even better.
That you can find me on Twitter.
I thoroughly enjoy that. Well played.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'll.
You know, yeah.
I don't know if I'll tweet.
Well, I don't respond.
I never know what to tweet.
I don't really respond to people. I just more.
Do you tweet though? Like, do you put out content?
Sometimes.
What do you tweet about? Like sports and stuff?
Once in a while. I'm a low volume tweeter.
Yeah.
Anytime I think about tweeting something that I like with the shooting thing. This happens to me all the time, right?
Uh-oh.
There's like a shooting thing. And like I was at the gym when that happened, and I was sitting there like, and I was on my phone, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I thought about it for a second, and I literally stopped myself and was like, nothing that I am about to say means shut up, put it away, stuck it back in my bag, and went about my
day. The first thing you're gonna get is stick to sports.
Yep. I think I can't tell you how many. At least 50% of the time, if I pick up my phone to tweet something, I stop and I'm like, no, we're fine. We'll just push this. I don't do really any sort of serious like
hot sports commentary.
Yeah, you kind of shove it away. I retweet some stuff occasionally, and you know, there's not a lot.
I get you.
Like Danny tweets like every 7 seconds.
Don't I know it? I had to
high volume shooter that one.
He's a mute.
I think the last thing I had was I was asking what the hell is Temu. That was the last thing I tweeted. It was like, does anyone know what that is?
I saw a Temu story today. I saw somebody was upset because there was a piece of plastic in one of their shoes or slippers. So razor sharp, it cut their foot open. They needed a bunch of stitches.
See?
Blaming Temu.
I tweeted out my nice park job, you electric driving soy boy. I tweeted out that note.
Yeah, that's good. That's good content.
Fantastic.
That's
and
content.
The other one put out, someone put out it was the land of the 80s, and it said you can only have one car, and that it was the General Lee, the DeLorean, 18 van Ghostbusters.
Whoa.
The Miami Vice Ferrari, Magnum's Ferrari, or Kit. and I retweeted it and I put van all day.
Yeah, the 18 vans.
There's the hot content that I am putting out right there.
General Lee, I mean,
you can't drive around with General Lee. You got the big,
because you got the Confederate flag.
the big Confederate
But it's
flag.
such a rad car.
It is. I like that you use the term rad, but like I can't drive around with the.
You know,
that.
Bubba Watson bought that.
Yeah, and he painted over the Confederate flag. I think he put the American flag on top.
He painted over it like a little bitch.
That it is the General Lee. So
What did I say?
No. I'm just saying.
Oh,
you can paint over the Confederate flag, but it's called the General Lee, Robert E. Lee.
Yeah,
it's a little. So I'm going to steer clear of that one.
So Bo and Luke were racists.
Look, they were hanging around Georgia in like the.
They grew up in a different time.
The 1970s, and they drove around in the General Lee. I'm guessing, and their best friend was Cooter.
I mean, John Schneider, who was Bo, or no, he was Luke. He was Bo. He was Bo. Isn't
the
he?
The blonde one was Bo. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't he crazy?
I think he's like a big Christian guy.
Yeah. Isn't he crazy?
That's up for debate. I think
him and the guy from
Kevin Sorbo.
No, the
Starsky and Hutch.
Not Family Ties.
Who are we talking about?
Growing Pains.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
Kurt Cameron.
Cameron.
That dude. Look up his videos sometimes. Dude, he tries to bring up a banana as proof that like there's God. It's a whole thing.
Well, I think that's right.
It's anyway. I went 18 van, and a lot of people were unhappy with me going 18 van.
Okay, so this story next is another. We talked about airplane. So, just full disclosure, I think it's stupid when airplanes have to turn around and go back to their to where they, the origin airport.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Pisses you right off.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, that's right. Don Donato or
LaGreca.
LaGreca.
Are you out of your mind?
No. Strong no.
What was I saying?
Turning planes around, you don't like it.
It's stupid. And they should just get to the destination because you have to fly back anyway. Like you're flying.
Yes.
So why not fly to where you're going instead of flying back? And now you have to fly all the way to where you're going again. So it drives me crazy. And yesterday we had one where 8 of the 9, it was an international flight, Amsterdam to LA, 8 of the 9 toilets were not working. 3 hours into the flight, they turn around. It's a 6.5 hour flight to nowhere when they could have just gone to freaking LA.
You're not happy about it.
It's stupid. It makes no sense.
It might be your number one pet peeve.
It makes no sense. Well, Loud Muffler guys, he's on another level. But yes, it's obnoxious. This one is even worse. And they turned this plane around. Maggots, that's pretty gross.
It's super gross.
Fell out of the overhead bin.
I'm not going to lie. If I had maggots dumped on me, I would be unhappy.
I would be very unhappy. At the same time, if they said, "Sir, would you like us to turn the plane around?" I'd be like, "No, forge ahead."
Drink coupons. Let's go.
We'll get to that next.
Hurting you so bad. Oh no.
It is 6:19 on the Fan.
Yeah. The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt.
tub. Yes, I'm currently on Twitter watching the Throw the Child video again. I was going through the old things that I've tweeted, and I stumbled across the Paramount Plus commercial, and it makes me happy every single time.
Did you see the full Dun Kings ad, the 4-minute version?
Yeah, the 4-minute version.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good. I love, the extended versions of stuff are so much better. Man, I know you can't run a 4-minute ad. I'm also currently trying to see if I can find the old-timey football jersey that Patrick Stewart is wearing in that says Sir Patrick on the back. I want that. It's like one of those long-sleeve football jerseys. There's a C on the side of it, and it just says Sir Patrick. I don't know if they make that, but if they do, the internet will find it for me.
So the flight here, we're going Amsterdam to Detroit now. This is Delta.
Wasn't the other one Amsterdam to L.A.?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in Amsterdam?
Apparently a lot.
I guess. We have broken toilets and now maggots.
Yeah, so this woman was sitting, she's not been identified, but she was sitting in her seat, and this was about, I think they said they were flying over England at the time, so they're not that far into their flight.
Yeah.
And out of the overhead bin, that are all closed, by the way, pouring onto her head are maggots. Dude.
That's all kinds of...
So her
That's nightmare
seatmate,
fuel.
her seatmate said she was freaking out. And he said she was just trying to kind of fight off the maggots as if they were attacking her.
I mean, look.
I think they were just falling.
I think we've all had it where you walk through a spider web, something falls on you, where we all go into that instinctual, you make this sound, and then you flail your hands as fast as possible. I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
Well, I think you got to get up too, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get, initially, I think
you're popping up.
You got your seatbelt on, so you're probably doing a flail, and then you're going for the seatbelt, and then standing up, followed by, I think, maybe some high knees and shaking of the head. Because your fear is that one of those maggots is in an orifice, and it's in an ear, it's down a shirt. You can't have that. What about the poor bastard sitting next to her, too?
Well, he's the one interviewed here, and he says he thought they were some kind of prank, but he really had no idea what was happening. He said, I don't know what was going through my mind. He said, I was just trying to process that these are maggots. So they just had to wait. They said, sit there and wait. Well, he gets moved to another seat, and then, of course, she does too, but they searched the overhead bins, and what they found was there was some dude had packed a rotten fish in his...
What?
Yes, he had a rotten fish wrapped in fish wrap in his carry-on.
Question,
and it had maggots on it.
So someone x-rayed fish.
Yeah.
Can I bring fish? I didn't know I could bring fish on an airplane. So I can just take a raw salmon, wrap that son of a bitch in some newspaper, and just ferry my way onto the airplane?
See, I thought that you had to dump perishables before you went through security.
Well, I know you can't bring liquids.
Right.
But I can bring, I can
what if
bring.
you got it after security?
Where are you going to
raw
find
fish,
a
though,
raw
with maggots?
piece? Where are you going to find a big piece of salmon?
Because that means it's raw fish that's been sitting out past security for, days?
He brought that fish from home. And why would you bring?
What was the airport of departure?
Maybe
did you
he
say?
caught it.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, yeah.
I guess that you think about it, I could bring like an Arby's, beef and cheddar.
But only after security.
Really? I can't bring that through security?
No.
I think I can.
If you have a bag of burgers and fries with you, you can't walk through?
I think you can. I think you can't bring liquid, but I think I can bring a beef and cheddar.
Really?
I think so. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, because when I go into my carry-on, I often...
you had to buy your food once you got past security.
No, because if I'm going on a long flight, we went to Japan, I had a backpack full of snacks. I had jerky, I had licorice, bar mix, I had all that
I think
stuff.
Sealed snacks are maybe different than already cooked. I don't know.
I just know I owe it. If I'm on a long flight, I'm bringing snacks. And yes,
Sure.
I do bring that through security. So it's possible that I could bring
containers and stuff, right?
Why can't I bring an entire piece of fish?
Because it has maggots in it.
Yeah, I don't know how that gets through security.
Because if we are allowing people to bring raw goods through, this opens up a whole can of worms or can of maggots, as the case may be. I'm surprised this doesn't happen more then. Just gross foods being on planes?
Well, the guy copped to it. They were searching the overhead bins and they find this fish, and that was the source of the maggots. And this dude said, "Yeah, that's mine."
Why? He just is like,
Yeah.
sorry.
He's like, "Sorry, that's mine." He didn't know there were maggots in it, of course.
What in God's green earth?
Everybody on the plane said that once they opened that particular package, just the look and the first of all, the smell was so bad, but the look on people's faces, like instantly like gagging, Well, they turned the plane around.
Yeah.
Had to go back to Amsterdam.
Well,
I don't know why, but they did.
The smell? Like, you can't.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm putting up with it.
Yeah, boy. That's a tough one for me because, like, I understand where you're coming from, but you can't have people puking because there's rotten fish and maggots.
Well, nobody puked.
Well, but someone may have.
But you could.
They could, but they didn't.
By the way, I'm looking through an approved list from the TSA. You can bring. Yeah.
I've got a comment here from our YouTube stream says that meat, seafood, and other non-liquid food items are permitted in both carry-on and checked bags, but they need to be packed with ice or ice packs if it's like raw, like meat or seafood.
Yeah, this is right here. Cooked meats, seafood, and vegetables, no liquid. Fine in your checked bag, fine in your carry-on.
This also says it needs to be completely frozen going through screening. So
creamy dips and spreads, yes. They have a whole list.
I can put creamy dip in my suitcase.
You can bring a little chive cream cheese with you if you want.
If you want a creamy dip in the carry-on, it has to be less or equal to 3.4 ounces.
Okay, I get that.
Fresh eggs, that's fine. Fresh fruits and vegetables, that's fine.
But I can put...
People bringing fresh eggs should be put on a no-fly list. That's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
It's a little excessive.
Who's bringing fresh eggs in their bag? It's just going to crack, break?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Fresh is a weird one.
As right here, as he said, fresh meat and seafood.
Have you guys ever taken something strange on a flight or had to pack up something weird? And
on accident, I tried to bring a ball peen hammer through security, and they didn't like that. This was at the Eugene airport.
Wow.
Yeah, I was flying home from college, and I had a hammer in my backpack that I had been using somewhere else before I tried to fly home, and they're like, "Is there something you want to tell us about in your bag, like a blunt object?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." They're like a hammer, and I was like, "Oh, I was supposed to leave that at home."
And they believed you.
I had to throw the hammer out.
Fools.
I was a little surprised that you can't. I had a torch lighter for cigars.
Mm-hmm.
You can't pack your torch lighter in your suitcase, but you can bring it on your carry-on, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
You can?
Where's that come from?
So we were going. Where were we going? We were going to. God, I don't remember where we were flying to. We were flying to somewhere, and I packed a little travel thing of cigars. So I had the cutter, and I had the lighter, and I thought, there's no way in hell those can go in my carry-on, right? So I put those in my suitcase or whatever, and the lady takes my bag, and they're doing all this. Do you have anything, blah, blah, perishable, flammable, all that stuff? And, we're like, no. And my gal was like, "Oh, what about your lighter?" And I just said, I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, I got a lighter in there. And the lady gets super "What?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I've got a little travel cigar case. And it's in there, but it's it's in a container and all that." And she didn't stop the bag before it had gone down the thing. So it was a whole thing. They had to pull my bag. I didn't know if I was going to make the flight. We had to get out of line, go back down to bag check, wait for my bag, get it. And I was like, "Well, do I just throw it away?" She goes, "No, you can take it on the flight." So they let me take all of that on the in my carry-on. They had no problem with it. The whole cigar, all that stuff. They let me take that through security in my carry-on, but it couldn't go in my checked bag.
That's weird.
Completely threw me, made no sense to me.
I've snuck my cigar lighter into my golf bag.
Yeah.
Or just left it in my golf bag and checked it.
No.
And gotten through.
Well, yeah.
But I think they just missed it.
I was going to say, don't, because if you say it, that lady was like, you would have thought that I was like literally trying to blow up an airplane.
The perceived risk is because I can't imagine. I don't get why bringing like a high-powered lighter onto the plane in the cabin itself would be any better than having it in the cargo hold. I don't get that.
My guess is like something like you're fearful that like it could explode, like
spontaneous.
It's like butane and like it blows up, and then you got a fire. I don't know.
Fire in the cargo hold. I don't know.
But I don't know why it couldn't spontaneously explode. Maybe is it not pressurized down? I don't know. But I couldn't believe that they let me take it on because I was prepared. I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to throw everything away. I was like, can I bring the cigars? She goes, no, you can bring it all. I was like, okay. Made no sense to me whatsoever that they didn't have any problem with that.
All right, we have horrible crash news. You know those self-driving cars that they have out there?
Oh, yeah. My car has a pseudo self-driving mode.
We have the first...
Soy boy.
That is true.
We have the first self-driving car death.
Oh, boy. Start the lawsuits?
Well, you knew this would happen.
Tesla?
Yep.
That's why I don't drive a Tesla.
We'll give you the sitch. Next, here's Buck.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and The Gorge, online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a train. First on the
can bring a cigar cutter, but they said the TSA has discretion if they deem it a threat, or basically if they think you're a schmuck, they can tell you no. But you can't bring a corkscrew. But you can bring a disposable razor, but not darts. And you can bring crochet hooks, but you can't bring any sort of ice pick.
Well, I guess, is that just for practicality purpose? Like, I mean, somebody could crochet.
But isn't a crochet needle the same thing as an ice pick?
Yeah, but why would you need an ice pick?
Why would I? Well,
you need a crochet. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a practical thing. Like, some old lady's going to crochet on the plane. That's fine.
But isn't but the whole point is to keep like a terrorist from someone. But if I'm going to stab someone with an ice pick, couldn't I stab someone with a crochet?
I think you could.
You know, it's like, the cigar cutter to me seems more dangerous than, because like those are two razor blades. But
if you can get the blades out, that could do some damage.
I mean, I guess I could try to take over the plane by like threatening someone to cut someone's finger off. Like, we're taking this plane to like El Salvador, otherwise this lady loses a finger.
Yeah, it's usually a nice torture trope in action movies. You know, I'm going to cut off the finger with the cigar cutter.
That is true. You know, I can bring a blender.
What?
Yeah, I can bring a blender.
I guess because you have nowhere to plug it in.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
like, what are you going to do?
I beg to differ. There's electrical outlets in
you're right, there are.
So
maybe they don't have the wattage. I don't know.
I'm just saying, I can bring a blender. Well, next thing you know, the person next to me is losing a hand.
You could put the finger in it.
Yes, you could.
That you cut off with the cigar cutter.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird. I just like, it is very.
And then warm it up with your cigar lighter and serve it.
It's very detailed. Cattle prod? No. There's actually a section on here for cattle prods.
Yeah, I mean,
has anyone tried to bring a cattle prod?
Ranchers.
I can bring Christmas lights. And
makes sense to me.
And a coat hanger, and I can bring a coffee maker.
I'm amazed that some of this stuff gets through and we can't do more than 3.4 ounces of liquid. Because the whole point is they're like, oh, it could be an accelerant. It's like, all these things could be weapons.
But aren't some of these gifts, though? Like, aren't they saying, like, you go to...
Yeah, coffee, I mean, yeah.
You go to Amsterdam, buy your coffee maker, they're like, all right, you can bring it, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I would assume it's just kind of it's just weird, one, how detailed this is and all that. I guess I never really think about that, but I mean, I'm sure those people have tried. I'm guessing people have tried to bring everything on an airplane at some point, right?
Ooh. What has not been at least attempted to be brought on an airplane?
At this point, I don't think anything. I mean, someone brought rotten fish. Like, they're just... Someone has brought... At this point, I do not believe there's anything that you could bring to TSA that would make them be like, what is this? I don't believe it. There's just no way. I mean, just the list alone, how detailed this thing... I'm like on page like 97, and it's still going. Oh, apparently I can bring a hot plate as well. I can just plug in my hot plate there and cook. Maybe that's what that guy was doing. He brought the fish and his hot plate. He was going to do. You imagine cooking up some fish on your hot plate in the middle of a transatlantic flight?
A listener sent us a nice list here. This is the 10 strangest things recovered by TSA in the year 2023.
I'm intrigued.
Number 10, soiled money in crutches. They found a pair of crutches that was stuffed with money inside that had been soiled. This was at El Paso International.
Cool.
I don't know.
That's actually not a bad idea to smuggle money in.
Number 9, an inert grenade at Milwaukee Mitchell Airport.
Jeez.
The bomb squad was called to the scene.
I would hope so.
A cattle prod, number 8, was inside a passenger's carry-on guitar case at Dulles International.
Had they been reading this list, they would have known cattle prod is right out. You know what else is right out? Magic 8 Ball.
Why can't you have one of those?
Can't bring it.
Too much liquid in there?
No.
Those are stupid anyway.
No, you can't bring one, so take that.
Number 7, someone hid a handgun inside of a PlayStation, inside the console.
Okay.
Again, you know that people realize they have x-rays, but...
Yep, and they have the x-ray photo of it right here. Number 6, drug scrunchies. Drugs hidden inside hair scrunchies found in the Boise airport in Idaho. A knife built in the hardware of a laptop. It was a 5-inch blade they discovered at the Richmond airport.
So again, this is just people trying to smuggle, you know.
Yeah. Let's see, we have a peanut butter firearm. Okay, somebody had put the disassembled parts of a handgun in a jar of Jif.
Okay.
What?
And they basically thought that the gummy peanut butter was going to make it hard to. They had like they had like a magazine, and then I don't know what the different gun parts are, but they had 3 jars and 3 different gun parts. The small handgun all separated, put in peanut butter.
By the way, screwdriver over 7 inches? No. Under 7 inches? Yes.
Really? A 6-inch screwdriver seems dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. Again, that seems like a very arbitrary thing. I feel like I could do a lot of damage with a 6-inch, like 1 inch.
So you can't have a corkscrew at all?
No.
But you can have a under 7-inch screwdriver?
Yes.
And a blowtorch. I mean, like a lighter that's a butane one.
Yes. I could heat up with my butane cigar lighter. I could heat up a 6-inch screwdriver and then just go a stabbing.
Weird. All right. Well, we got to nothing we wanted to there.
No, we got
and we're out of time.
Yeah, it happens.
Has anybody ever tried to bring their grill onto a plane?
I don't know, but you can bring a microwave. That's on here. Totally legit. Totally legit. You can bring a blender, a microwave, and a hot plate. You can cook yourself a nice little meal right there.
Can I bring my own toilet?
I'll look. I don't know if that goes under miscellaneous.
Bring my golden toilet, set it in the back there.
Unless you can compact it, I think it's going to be too big.
The first thing that pops up on miscellaneous is artificial skeleton bones.
Jody.
The answer to that? Yes.
All right. We'll wrap it up next. It is 6:47 on the Fan.
That was super.
Matt.
No.
No, we're not. I just said I'm not going to do it.
If you want this, a doctor got kicked off a plane coming from Mexico to the U.S. They did not turn the plane around, but they kicked her off because she used the bathroom too many times before the plane took off. She had a bout of Montezuma's revenge. And I guess they said that she was unfit to fly.
Oh, so like you're going to be so much of a problem with your mud butt that you're out of here?
Yeah,
no kidding?
Yeah, WestJet. Yeah, they said she got booted due to excessive bathroom before takeoff.
Huh.
Yeah, I guess she's a doctor, Joanna Chu, and said she got kicked off a WestJet flight from Mexico because she had the bubble guts.
She not fly with us.
But do they know that she had the bubble guts, or was she up to weird stuff like going back there and doing drugs?
She just said
she said that?
Yeah, she's claiming that she went to the bathroom multiple times, and they were like, "All right, that's enough. You're out," and they booted her. So
I didn't know you could get booted for that.
I did not. What? I wonder what is the limit on the bathroom. Like, to be fair, like, because the boarding process and all that, you're dealing with like what, 20 minutes, right? 20, 25 minutes to board and everything.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Like 5? 4? Like, what's the? I'm guessing at 3.
Well, certainly 2's no problem.
Yeah. 3 suspicious.
3rd, it's like you're catching people's attention.
Yeah.
4?
Now we're like,
we know you have a problem.
I think 5 you may be off.
5.
I feel like, Isaac, you'd be a big proponent of this because it eliminates the need to turn it around.
Well, they better. Okay, you either kick her off before you get airborne, or she stays on the damn flight. You don't. If she gets up a 6th time an hour into the flight, you better not turn the effing plane around.
No, we've seen this before. The Spain one with the poopsies all over.
Yeah,
they turned it around.
God.
Hey, they did the responsible thing. They booted her before. She's not happy about it, obviously. They just booted her and they didn't say anything.
I wouldn't be happy about that either.
Well, no. What are you supposed to do if you've got the trots? Like,
it's kind of unfair.
A little bit. I got the RIA. I'm doing the responsible thing. I'm heading to the can.
Trying to get out of your system before the flight.
Right. There's only so much you can.
Right. I think maybe they're saying is like, we don't think that you can sit for the entire flight, and there's.
Well, so
we're not
what?
taking that risk.
They weren't willing to risk it. It's also hilarious that it's a small Asian doctor. It wasn't like it was like some big redneck loser or whatever. It's a tiny Asian doctor, and they're like, listen here, Mrs. Dr. Chow, I don't get your ass is out. Let's go.
That's brutal.
Yeah, booted her.
All right, everybody, have a great night. We are back tomorrow, 3 to 7 on the Fan.